Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. What is going on? Welcome to Whetstone Wednesday. I am going to be your host, Sean MacIntyre. I am I'm a former professor. I have spent the last 20 years writing for money and the last 10 years dividing my time between equity analysis, content writing, marketing, entrepreneurship, and of course, copywriting, which is why you are probably here today, and also the bit where I've had the most success and made the most money. This is a Whetstone Wednesday stream, a stream wherein we wet the stone, or how should I say, put Wednesday to the whetstone. Basically, we review copy. In particular, we review the copy submitted by members of our, hold on, I have a banner for this. Do I have a banner for this? Patreon.com/thecopythatshow. The whole premise of these live streams is that, if you are a member of our Patreon community, you can go to our Discord, and when we announce one of these streams, you can submit your copy and get it reviewed by one of us on stream, usually about 2 times a month. That's it. That's the spiel. I'm back from a long hiatus. This is my first stream since, I think, May, because I spent 6 weeks in Japan, where I was doing a combination of writing copy, copy chiefing, appearing in 4 promotions. I spoke from the stage. I help my business over there sell a lot of things and make a lot of money. So there you go. So I'm looking at the chat. Yes, I'm real. That's a thing that I am, I suppose. It doesn't always feel that way. I've been jet lagged horrifically for the last week, so I doubt myself sometimes. Really, we have videos about this. Go onto the channel and actually dig into our 101 series, How Much Do Copywriters Even Make? I've been very public and even shared my tax documents on the Copywriting Collective Discord. So you can actually see how much I make if that is something that really matters to you, which it shouldn't. But, thank you. I'm specifically not going to acknowledge this. It was just time for a change, but I'm already regretting it. My face is very cold. So, anywho, how are you all doing today? Is everybody doing well? Can everybody hear me okay? Smash Y in the chat if you can hear me okay, and we will jump right into actually looking at people's copy. Oh, trillions. I'm a Zimbabwean trillionaire. Maybe even a quadrillionaire at this point. Yeah, I'm getting over being sick, so that's a thing. What are these kinds of questions? Like, this is not a Q&A stream. This is a Whetstone Wednesday. If you have those sorts of questions, go to either the copy that, start here if you're a new copywriter channel, or go to the Copywriting Collective How to Start Copywriting channel, or just go to our channel and actually look up some of the answers to these questions. What the fuck, man? What the hell? All right. Jeez Louise. You people are tough. Can't please anybody. This is literally what she said. She said, "Oh, you shaved. You look very handsome." And that made me feel really good. Very much unlike the feeling that I got getting your comments, you people. Jeez, man. Was I in one of those peculiar and eccentric Japanese commercials? No. I was in actual VSLs for selling products and newsletters that I actually write and that we publish in Japan, that I also am going to start publishing in the United States. Check out my other channel, DIY Wealth, which is closer to my main gig than Copy That. Anywho. Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with the kinds of questions that you ask. the newbie weird questions where it's just like we give so many resources where it's like you could just go look that up. Go look that up. It's fine. I am going to take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. I've been doing business with people in Japan, specifically a business called Direct Publishing Group for the last, oh God, it's been nearly 10 years at this point. Anyway, my main gig is actually I'm the managing director of a content licensing business. That's where I pull in the most of my money right now. And yeah, I write editorial and copy for that. And then we affiliate with other businesses that need content and need copy. And, they sell, like translate, localize it, and then sell it. And then we collect a royalty fee based on that IP. And yeah, so I've been doing that for a long time. And I'm launching a domestic business that actually has the content that we've been selling overseas for the last 7 years. So yeah, that's starting. Nope. Don't speak a single one. I barely even speak English. What are you talking about? We even have a video about what is good copy and bad copy. So let's see. All right. These are the kinds of questions that I can tell you're either very, very new or very, very young. You just need to go and actually watch some of our actual videos where we've answered this. So this is probably not the stream for you. It might be a little bit above your pay grade at this particular point. Hello, how's it going? Good to see you again. Hello. All right. Oh, it is good to be seen. So we have some copy to actually look at. And I'm going to share it. And here's how these work. I read the copy, and then I talk about the copy, and I share my thoughts along the way. And you guys are free to chat and ask relevant questions. And there you go. That's how this works. Let's zoom in a little bit. So Evan, my man, who I actually just I had a meeting today at lunch with a few very important people in the direct marketing and publishing space, and one of those people is actively working with the person who wrote this, and I had extremely high praise for him. We've been working with Evan for a long time, and he has done a lot of amazing work and has grown a lot. This particular thing, what you are seeing on your screen right now, is the beginning, also called the lead, of a sales letter. A sales letter is like a sales page, except it's written as a letter or some sort of actual presentation. And what it does is it articulates a compelling idea or argument for why you need to be interested in a particular topic or theme. And usually what happens is, well, if you want to take advantage or profit from that topic or theme, you buy the product. That's how sales letters work. What the heck? You guys are making me so self-conscious. Wow. All right. Anyway, Evan's idea for this particular piece of copy is to hook people by hitting at a theme called Project 2025 and play on election stress. And then what he plans to do is sub in, this is called transubstantiate is the term for this. That is, rather than transubstantiation is a Catholic term where Jesus turned water into wine. So in your copy, you can actually take an existing idea out there in the world that's pretty ordinary out there in the news, and then just either tweak the idea or call it something different. Very common one that you'll see in sales letters is that rather than refer to a specific idea or like an act or some sort of law, they'll use Law HR 1025 or Executive Act number 1315. And the reason for that is because it creates more intrigue. Whereas if somebody saw Project 2025, they'd be like, I've seen that before. I know what that is. I don't need to pay attention to this. And then they ignore it. And you don't want that to happen. So let's actually look and see same place with Porter & Co. Fears that as it stands, the idea is too far from real estate to bridge successfully. So this is for a product called Real Estate Trend Alert. It ultimately sells real estate overseas. So we got some eyebrow copy here. Exclusive interview with the mastermind behind the controversial plan to restore the American dream for every citizen of this great nation. This is already running into a problem that it feels good to get back on stream and actually, play some of my greatest hits right out of the gate, because what is this guilty of? It's guilty of preposition stacking. Exclusive interview with this person behind this thing to do this thing. That's an infinitive. The American dream for every citizen of this great nation. It gets confusing. The more prepositions you stack, the more clauses you stack in a single sentence, the more confusing it gets. So it is thoroughly preposition stacked. So please recommend some website where I can find highly converting copy. I'm a beginner and want to practice. Swipe.co? Swipe.co. And if you go into the copy that Start Here New Copywriters channel, there's a link to a post that I made where I said, hey, here's like 30 different email lists that do direct response copywriting very well. Highly converting copy. Listen, one thing I got to tell you is that nobody gets to see what the results are for promos that businesses host. So a lot of highly converting copy out there, it's kind of a guess, an educated guess typically, but there's no place that's just like, this promo sold millions of dollars. There is no place for stuff like that. You just have to find swipe files and build your own. ClickFunnels does occasionally have high converting copy. It has a lot of bad copy too. Anywho, P2025. America is rushing towards a turning point no matter who wins the election. Every American age 50 plus who hopes to enjoy the comfortable retirement we were promised needs to tune in to this shocking broadcast. That's not bad. It's clearly calling out whom this is for. It's clearly calling out what they want. It's clearly insinuating that societal bait and switch has taken place. Very many people of that age feel victimized by what has happened to them in their life. So that's a good pain point to hit. Needs to tune into the shocking broadcast. Pretty good. What I don't think is working right now is simply this. Is this enough to carry that? I'm not sure. I think you need to play around with a couple of different headlines. I think just P2025 is not working for me. There's a great promo by Michael Palmer called Have You Heard of TAS? It was like a control front end for many, many years. It sold so many millions of dollars. And all the headline was Have you heard of TAS? And then people sort of like ran with that headline template for a very long time. Have you heard of eVTOL? Have you heard of this thing? And that sort of format, that sort of structure is, I think, more interesting here because it builds intrigue around whatever P2025 is. P2025, you look at that and you go, why should I care? If you change the frame around that, you might be able to get a little bit more leeway. So as this stands right now, I don't think this headline is working. We could go through the whole, how do you assess headlines? Is there urgency? Well, it is in the deck. So there's a little bit of urgency there. It's not deadline, so not really. Is it useful? There's implied usefulness here. It's not very direct, so mid-level there. Is it ultra specific? That's where I think this kind of falls apart. Same thing with uniqueness, where people are going to gloss over this. They're not going to know how to make sense of it. They're just going to look at this other stuff, and it's not unique. So that's something you got to have to weigh there. So I feel like most of these are scams. No, it's you spell out an idea and you sell information about it. You know, it's not misleading. It's not fraudulent. It's like, hey, here's this interesting thing that's happening. Here's a product that can help you take advantage of it. How is that a scam? Anyway. What's more important, reviewing copy that's good or reviewing copy that resonates with you? When you're first starting out, you want to review some copy that resonates with you just to get your toehold. You want to sort of understand what's going on under the hood. You want to give yourself a feeling of superiority when you look at copy and you start learning copy and you look at something that like originally resonated with you. And then you go like, oh, but I see where this is going wrong in so many places. And it's at that point where, yeah, really what you want to do is start looking at copy that's being published by businesses that you can sort of rely upon to put out generally good copy. You know, garbage in, garbage out, as they say. But when you first start out reading copy, a lot of copy is counterintuitive, and a lot of the copy that works really, really well is not going to be something that normies, how should I say, are exposed to very often. How many of you are the age 50 plus? Probably very few of you. That means that the likelihood of you actually being on the list to receive this is basically non-existent. So, you know, you're going to encounter a lot of copy that's just not geared to you. And you have to sort of like bend your brain and learn the tropes of it and sort of adopt, you know, what you need to learn to appreciate things. It's like a fine wine or like art. Anywho. This is specific. P2025 says nothing. It is not specific. It's just a letter and some numbers. I don't understand where you're seeing that specificity. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We literally have a video. Go through our collection of videos. There's one, it's how to practice copywriting. And I literally have a breakdown of the hours that you should spend and how to divide your time. It's all in that video. So let's go through some bullets. This already feels like a very busy bit of deck copy. I would, especially if this is going to be a video interview, you're probably going to have room for like an eyebrow that's shorter than this, the main headline, and like a 2-line deck. Very, very rarely are you going to see this. And the reason why is because, well, if there's a video on this page and there's a bunch of bullets, it's going to push the video down below what's called the fold. And if people have to scroll to see the video that you're writing copy around, they'll just click off. And so look at actual VSL pages. You'll find that the copy around them is typically pretty minimal. The other way that people do it is they'll do eyebrow, main headline, and either skip the deck copy or have a very short bit of deck copy. And then they'll either put bullets at the bottom or they'll actually put in some testimonials or social proof at the bottom, right below where the video is playing. So that's something to keep in mind. As far as this is going right now, this is too many bullets for a headline complex that already feels a little long. Discover the truth behind P2025 and how it will affect retirees nationwide. This only works if you already articulate the, how should I say, the power that P2025 is going to have. So, for example, if I told you guys right out of the gate, hey, on this stream, I'm going to tell you the power of ashwagandha. And I just started that way. Most of you would be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But say instead, I said, listen, I just got back. I have horrible jet lag. I'm feeling, really, really down in the dumps. But like, you know what? I actually did just discover a natural herbal supplement that's been completely changing my life, making me super virile, caused me to like lose my beard, shaved my head, tripled my testosterone, et cetera, et cetera. And it's called ashwagandha. And if you stick around, I'm going to make sure that you discover the truth behind ashwagandha and how it will affect you. Do you see what I did there? It's an ordering of things. You have to think about the details and intrigue as being a little bit like a snowball. And the amount of interest, like pent up interest that a person has for something, it accumulates over time and over like very specific, subtle details. And it's once you have enough of those details that you can then be like, now that you're into this, you're over the course of this presentation going to discover why this is so cool. That's why this is not working right here. It's all about the order of ideas and the, how should I say, rhetorical power that snowball of detail has picked up over time. So that's something that copywriters need to keep in mind. The only surefire way to protect your wealth, family, freedoms during the post-election chaos. 4 pillars that could ensure the lifestyle you worked your whole life for lasts through every one of your golden years. Yeah, again, a lot of these bullets, like they just need more copy around them. Like I don't know why I should care about these at this point. The threats facing America's foundational values of liberty and justice for all. Yeah. How to claim a step-by-step playbook that can make this election the best thing that ever happened to you, no matter who comes out on top. This feels more appropriate for this particular position. But again, I would consider actually rejiggering this headline complex. And this final bullet is teasing the actual product, but not actually naming the product. So good on that. I imagine legal would push back against that particular claim. Just saying. And I imagine if you look at it through that lens, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's zoom in a little bit further. Kim, and this is the host who's going to be introducing the topic. It is not enough to win elections. Anyone can see it's going to take a lot more than that if we want to bring back the American dream. Even in this divisive election, it seems like this is one point we can all agree on, and it is the main argument of my guest today. That feels a little awkward. The author of the controversial P 2025. Now, is this going to be with the person? Is this going to be with somebody from the Heritage Foundation? Because legal's first question is going to be like, wait, Project 2025, that was written and authored by the Heritage Foundation. And so you're going to have to like get around that, like, no, this is a different P 2025 that's authored by Ronan. And it's like, it's a whole thing. You might consider like calling it something a little bit different, but that's entirely up to you, or just like changing the frame of this. The man says his plan is the only hope to keep the standard of living we've worked so hard to achieve. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the author of the controversial P 2025. Here you're using P 2025 both to reference Project 2025 and also to sort of like be a mask for a particular plan for people to buy international real estate in the chaos of the election. So you're running a few risks there. One is legal being like, I'm not so sure about that. That's easy to overcome. The second one is going to be people feeling like they're being bait and switched. So those are all things that you have to kind of consider. Yeah, it's, again, it's close enough that like, I'm not sure that it's doing that right now. Anywho, sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's working right now, but let me keep reading and I'll share my thoughts. So, if like me, you're one of the many Americans age 50 and up, Kim, if like me, you're one of the many Americans age 50 and up looking at our country and wondering, how do we get here? So, Kim, I'm assuming, is a person who's older than 50. Wondering, how did we get here? You'll agree it's worth at least hearing him out. Even the most steadfast Democrats admit Bidenomics has backfired. Our nation's debt has topped $33 trillion and continues to grow day by day. As the cost of housing rises, more and more people are on the streets of our major cities, and inflation is quickly eating away at the value of our savings. This is a real estate promo, by the way, guys. In fact, inflation is so bad, it's outpacing the housing market for the first time since the 60s. You've almost certainly seen the value of your home rise since Biden took office. This is just a thought. It's just an idea. I'm playing around with it in my head. One thing that you might consider playing with rhetorically, and it doesn't have to be in the lead, it can be somewhere else in the promo, but one thing that you might want to consider is like, there might be a dream that a lot of people have to buy either a second home or like a rental real estate property. And what you can do is actually, you can blame all the economic things, inflation, for example, and housing, for preventing that, basically preventing normal everyday people from accomplishing their dream of becoming, developing a rental real estate property. You can even go back to like the 50s or 60s and say like, it was normal for people to like rent out a room, to own a house and like rent it out to get a duplex and rent out the other apartment to other people. But now no more, because of all the inflation and bad things that have been happening. It's no wonder that people are homeless and on the streets. They can't afford a house at this point. So how do you expect to afford a rental property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And what that does is it rhetorically tees up, well, the opportunity to get real estate that's cheap elsewhere. So anywho, this is much of the idea of how I would segue after Ronan gets introduced. Yeah, what I was just saying there. Yeah, if I had some water, I would drink it. Well, the product's name is Real Estate Trend Alert. The thing, most people who are new to sales letters and to direct response copy don't understand that what you're doing is alluring people with the idea first, not the product. We are copywriters. We sell ideas, not products. Only newbies sell products. And so with P2025, what we're trying to do is we're trying to articulate a clear reason why a person would want to take action today, something that entices them, something that delights them, something that scares them a little. You choose your emotions carefully. And then based on the interest that you develop for that particular idea, then you show an offer around that idea. But it usually occurs about halfway through a promotion, typically at the 35-page point. So yeah, for me, that's the first thought that I have, but play around with it, see if it works. I don't even have water, man. How do you expect me to get some tea? Come on. Anywho. So carrying on. But did you know that even though the average home was worth this more than it was in 2020, the value of those dollars has fallen? So far, it's like you lost $9,000. That's a little confusing. Be careful when you start throwing out numbers. Like, I can see this confusing a reader. So be careful with that. It's not a pretty picture, and for many of us, it's in my age bracket. It feels like the American dream is slipping out from beneath us. And I hate to see it, but things could get worse before they get better. This is already the most violent election in decades and hasn't even begun. Good line. My guest today has a plan that he says can put that dream. Okay. All right, that's referring to this. That feels proximal enough. One thing that immediately jumped out at me is it's not enough to this. Anyone can see it is going to take a lot of this. Even in this divisive election, it seems like this is one of the points we can all agree on, and it is the main argument of my guest today. What's going on there? We're using a lot of pronouns and referential words to point to stuff and set up terms rhetorically, but I would say that these sentences are weaker because of it. Now, rewriting it that's on you. But I would say that, like, because what you're doing is doing, it after it after it after it, the normal person consciously is not going to notice that, but subconsciously they will. And so you got to be careful of stuff like that. So things to keep in mind. And that's one of those things where it's like, it's a subtle, it puts the B in subtle, and you might not have thought about it, but it's one of those things where it's like, when you reread your copy, you need to look for your tendency to overuse terms, syntactic structures, and in this case, referential terms, because that can be very confusing and off-putting to a reader, again, subconsciously. So let's see. His plan promises income that outpaces inflation, so you can watch your savings grow instead of shrink, the freedom to live life on your own terms without worrying about being canceled or ending up on the wrong side of woke culture, the security of knowing your grandchildren can go to the best educational institutions this country has to offer, no matter what happens with DEI between now and then. I can see this being really appealing to conservatives. The language, I can see it being very appealing to conservatives. The biggest hurdle that you're going to encounter in this promo is the fact that a lot of conservatives don't want to live overseas. There's a sort of natural prejudice that middle Americans have against the rest of the world. And so all of this would work well to appeal to them. But the second you go, oh, also, by the way, this involves buying condos in Panama, you're going to lose a lot of people. And so you have to be very, very careful with, like, how hard in the paint you go with this kind of rhetoric, because, very simply, a lot of the people that this kind of rhetoric would appeal to, they are not always going to be the buyers of this. And so it's a tightrope walk that you kind of got to walk a little bit. There are certainly conservatives who buy real estate and invest overseas. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there is going to be a natural disconnect there for a lot of people. And you have to be very gentle and very delicate with that. So far, so good, but that's something that I want you to keep in mind. So it outlines it referring to a plan, his plan. When it comes to, like, this, sorry, I'm dying. Everybody, you're watching me die on stream. It outlines, this man's plan outlines Just replace the it with what you're referring to. The real buyer is a weird person. We choose strongly conservative, but it is a deal breaker for a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely true. So, yeah, I think, yeah, listen, I'm all for pandering to people of a particular political bent. Lord knows I've done it to conservatives. Lord knows I've done it to liberals. But with this, let's talk about what a person needs to know to understand the significance of this line. No matter what happens with DEI between now, they need to know what DEI is. They need to know what it entails, and they need to understand how DEI would have an impact on the previous line, which I guarantee you, if somebody's watching this, they've already pretty much forgotten. So when you throw out stuff like this, you do run a very, very strong risk of putting people off because you confuse them. And so I feel like woke culture is close enough to being in the mainstream that you can get away with that. But this, it's like, you listen to politicians and you listen to their talking points and you go, I don't know if that's landing. I don't know if the DEI is landing right now. So, something to keep in mind. He's even written about a way to double your nest egg in 5 years without draining your savings or sinking your wealth into some harebrained investment that's more likely to crash than something else. All by reviving an American tradition of investing offshore. That's funny. Here's one of those things. I actually think it's probably a good thing for some lists and some audiences to reveal basically what this entails earlier on. I've also sold Rita before, and one of the things that I did, however, was really, how do I describe this? I really buried the details until way later, but I also did reveal that I was talking about offshore accounts early on in the lead. And so one of the things that you might do to set up this line a little bit better is to actually detail a little bit about what the actual plan is before you get into all the, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, all this stuff. Again, we're talking about that rhetorical snowball, like the details that it's picking up, the desires, the notions, the identifications that it's appealing to along the way. And then what you want to do is you want to basically say okay, very, very clearly signal that we're going to be talking about something, offshore or overseas, and then almost mention it in passing. And that way it's going to work a little bit better. But again, it's just finessing all of this a little bit better. I do feel like once you get through this, people will be on board, and then people will get to this and they'll be like, nah, fuck you. So that's something that you got to keep in mind and be careful about. I appreciate that. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I am very proud of that promo. I loved it. Not just fascination, intrigue and fascination, because here's the thing. These all count as fascinations, but you need a little bit more specificity, a little bit more detail to really make them intriguing. And I would say that something that reveals more about the product is going to be more of a fascination, whereas something that builds intrigue is going to be more of an intrigue-based bullet. But that's just a, maybe a distinction without a difference. It doesn't really matter. The thing is that with fascination and revealing it too early is that you want to make sure that whatever you're revealing too early is enough to keep the person reading. And what I'm trying to point out to Evan along the way is the different points where I go, somebody would probably drop off here. Somebody would probably drop off here. somebody would probably drop off here. And here's the thing. In a sales letter, the whole point is to keep the magic show going. If people leave before the reveal, nobody buys. So that's what I'm trying to do here, if that helps at all. So it's natural to be a little skeptical. I was too, but I've looked at his plan, and I can assure you, though the ideas may seem a little unconventional or even controversial, there's nothing illegal or even the slightest bit un-American about any of them. It's funny because people are going to hear him talk and hear his accent and then immediately be like, wait a minute. That's funny. And as far as investments go, they all carry risk. But in my 25 years advising in the financial world, I don't think I found a single investment that holds as much promise with as little risk as what he's going to outline for you today. That's a good implied promise. That's pretty strong. I like that. I'll bring him out in just a moment, but first let me introduce myself to all the new viewers joining us in this monumental broadcast. Kim Iskian. So if you're working with Kim Iskian, he's great. He worked with Stansberry Taiwan or something like that. I've met him a bunch of times. He's a very, very, very intelligent man. He spent so much time overseas in places that, like, I couldn't even imagine being there. He's really cool. But, and I will say this, I do not think you need to introduce Kim Iskian. I think your opportunity to introduce Kim Iskian is up here earlier on. And for that, I would look at Mike Ward promos that have Mike Ward be the host. And for those of you who don't know, Mike Ward was the publisher of a company called Money Map. Money Map recently was folded, into the Oxford Club. It doesn't exist anymore, but there was a series, like very many promos that sold just tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. So much money. And they all had the same format where it was Mike Ward, the publisher, interviewing the guru about some sort of investment idea. And then once the investment idea was fully proven and fleshed out, people understood the risk, people understood the opportunities. It was at that point that an offer was actually made. That's how the structure of those promos went. I would look at those promos if you want to introduce Kim. You also have the complete opportunity to just not introduce Kim. I leave that up to you. But then you get into the actual stuff. All right. So really quick, thoughts on P2025. Thank you. Appreciate you. I am not going to give this clear CTA. Please give this stream a thumbs up. You can do whatever you like. I respect your autonomy, and I respect you as a person. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I was thinking that you're referring to introducing Kim the way that Mike Ward does, and Mike Ward always led with an introduction, and his introductions were always like very tight, very short, and very much tied to the opportunity. So look into that. I think this has some promise. I expressed my, I don't think this headline complex is working yet. I think that you're doing a very good job of pandering to a conservative audience, but I don't know yet if you're really how should I say, either drawing in conservatives who would normally be opposed to this idea, but can be convinced of it, or conversely, conservatives who are already on the fence and already kind of into it, and then just need an opportunity to buy. That latter group, I don't think this is working for at all. It might need some finesse for that former group, the group of conservatives who are not yet convinced of investing overseas. So yeah, it's very hard to talk to the Buy America crowd and be like, you know what is better than buying American? Buying not American. And then you have this Irish dude who's talking about it. there's a lot of like friction there that you're going to have to navigate. Yeah, I would say that like what you're trying to do here is intelligent, but I don't think it's working. And so I would play around with it. And like, if I were more fresh, like I've gotten more sleep and we're feeling less crappy, I would come up with ideas for you, but workshop this, resubmit it down the line. But I know the people that you work with, and I think that if they read this, they would say like, okay, there's promise here, but they would probably say a lot of the same things that I'm saying. Any questions, Evan, before I move on to the next thing? Awesome. Well, I hope it was helpful. I hope everybody got something out of that. And yeah, let's move on to the next piece of copy. Copies types. No, I meant type of copy. Playful. All right. And this is from Sean. Other Sean. Very cool. Type of copy. A video script and 2 LinkedIn messages to try to watch the video audits I made for them. Okay. I feel like Alex is the best person to review this kind of stuff. I've never had to do a video audit. I will do my best to give you good feedback. I preemptively apologize if I don't give the most eloquent feedback. Business name is Clutch Chargers. Got the decision makers. Product type, magnetic device chargers that stick to the back of your electronic devices, especially phone. Okay. So this is an e-com product where basically you attach a magnetic charger to your phone, and then you have like, it's like the Apple Watch charger, if you guys have seen that, where it's just a magnet that attaches to the back of the Apple Watch. That way you don't need to plug anything in. And so that's what this e-com company does. That's my guess. Yeah. Financial copy, health copy, survival copy to an extent. Like it's a tough animal. There's so much to consider. There's so much to think about. And there's so many tightropes that you have to like dance on rhetorically to make a sale. So, very, very few people on the planet can do it. So to get the CMO or marketing manager on a call. Okay. I'll watch the video audit. Don't be nice, but please be thorough. I will do my best. All right. So just to explain very quickly, we are a channel called Copy That. We recommend that people do different types of outreach, and we recommend that people incorporate into their cold outreach something called video audits. Video audits are basically where you literally record yourself looking at a person's website, copy, whatever. And your first bit of outreach is literally sending them like a little audit of their business, saying like, here's how you can make more sales. The natural benefit of that is like, 1, you can show off your cred. 2, there's a clear benefit to getting onto a call with you, et cetera, et cetera. We have a whole series of things in a product called the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot, link in the description below. We also, Alex, other member of Copy That, he did a bunch of like actual video audits where he showed how he would go about it. So if that's something that you want to add to your arsenal, we have stuff for you, but I just gave you the basic premise and you can sort of figure it out on your own from there. Hi there, Alejandro and Rocio. I came upon you all's site because I was curious about the phone chargers. And I love y'all's phone chargers. Just use the singular your. I came upon your site. Make things easy because I was curious about phone chargers. That, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, what? It's weird. I came upon your site, and I have to say, I love the phone chargers that you have. They're minimalistic, sleek, and have a ton of power to keep any device powered up all day long. This one's weird. I was like, yes, I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you. What? Be careful there. I love both of your life missions on protecting human rights and ending the taboo of talking about. I would just say, business is Clutch Chargers. I really love Clutch Chargers' mission to protect human rights. It feels a little bit of a distraction, though. Also, great job on whoever did your website. It's a nice, clean, modern site. You're really, really gussing him up. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if I would keep on this much praise. It sounds sycophantic. I don't know if I would want to listen to somebody praising me that much. I notice you all have an A+ Better Business rating, which is amazing. Again, some of these details, I'm like, I don't know if that would intrigue me to want to keep listening. It would look even more amazing on the top of the website, so it builds instant trust with all your site visitors and most trust. So that's why you have that there. You want to add some indication that they have this at the top of their website. All right. Your website is accessible to those who are visually challenged. I'd love to see that accessibility option as a tab on the whole website. All right. So minor suggestions. Like if I got this as a CMO and I heard this and then I heard this, I'd be like, these feel like whispers, not screams. I don't know like why I should continue listening to you. I would, again, I'm not the video audit person. Alex is the video audit person. He's had the most success with this. For me, my awesome card is networking. I don't think anybody networks better than me. I don't think anybody's more humble than me either. Funny how that works. But when it comes to this, if I got this, I'd be like, I'd be very on the fence very early on. Like, not in a good way. I think that you might want to start with like the biggest thing that can have the biggest impact. Like, don't bury it. Like, including this, not a big thing. Including this, I mean, honest to God, I feel like a good service that you can sell to people is actually like implementing like accessibility features for websites to make them ADA compliant and to actually help with visually impaired people. And so your whole audit can be around like a visual impairment or like accessibility audit. Like that's a service that you can sell and big companies will buy that because big companies actually do have to have that. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. I wouldn't just throw it out there like as a side thing. So thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Listen, it takes at least 7 seconds to get rich in copywriting. So, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, everybody. And I'm going to watch the viewers tick down, but it actually like 7-8 seconds to get rich with copywriting. I know you guys are hoping for 3. I apologize. Here's the thing. Audience awareness level, it's highly likely that your client won't even know what that is. A lot of marketing jargon, a lot of copy jargon, the people that start businesses, they don't start businesses knowing copy and marketing. They don't start like, they have a product they want to put out into the world. They know that product. They don't understand stages of awareness. They don't know what a lead is, And so, no, in all likelihood, depending upon the agency you work for, if you ever work for an agency, you'll probably never get somebody who tells you what the audience awareness level is. That's something you have to kind of figure out, and something you have to sort of like weigh and adjust. That's something to keep in mind. How do you identify it? You can usually do it logically. I am working on a masterclass entirely about that. But I will say this. If you are leading off a piece of copy with like, buy fidget spinners, 50% off, obviously that's going to somebody who's like either most aware or product aware, because clearly it's not good for unaware, because they don't. Why would somebody need a discount? Why would a discount appeal to somebody for something that they don't know about? It wouldn't work for problem aware. Like, you can just sort of like go down the list and be like, would this appeal? Would this idea resonate with this type of person who knows these things? And usually you can sort of like filter it down to like 2 possible ones. So. Oh yeah. I know. I love the people. I play around. Oh, hello. The reason for my video is, since you all have such great products and sounds like a great team to work with and a great company, I'd love to recommend my copywriting services to you all. Yeah, I kind of gotta agree with this particular comment a little bit, because this just feels weak. It'd be like me saying on stream, like, I'd love to show you my nipples. I'd really love to show you my nipples. But all of you are being like, please, sir, do not show me your nipples. I have no desire to see your nipples. I have not done the work yet of like building myself up and talking about how amazing, life-changing, incredible, mind-blowingly incredible my nipples are, until I've shown you how like catastrophically awesome my nipples are. You're not going to care if I say I'd love to recommend my nipples to you. Same thing is happening here. You gotta sell your nipples first, man. Did you guys miss me? Yep. Always gotta talk. Listen, nipples and butt pimples. That's the only 2 things that I know how to sell. All right. I could help you. Listen, change the frame of some of this language. I could help you all with setting up the software design and write e-newsletters for you. No, don't do that. I noticed that you are not currently leveraging the power of a newsletter list. It's been shown that a simple email newsletter can actually increase sales by up to 35 times the investment. It seems a shame to me, considering how good your business is, that you're not leveraging the power of email. Done. Just rewind the tape of what I just said and write what I just said, and that's going to be stronger than what you currently have. I could help. Yeah, I could show you my nipples, but I'm not gonna. It's one of those things where it's like, what you're doing here is you're operating under the assumption that this is something that they already want. And if this is something that they already want, they would have come to you. You know what I mean? So you have to phrase things differently to actually emphasize the importance and viability of what you're suggesting. So they will buy more of your products, yada, yada. Secondly, with any email campaigns, you might need writing. So you're offering them email services. So here's the thing that you gotta, when you're offering email services to a business, you have to consider two things. One, do they already have an email list that actually only triggers once a person buys something? If it's an e-commerce store, a lot of e-commerce businesses will not let people just sign up randomly to that business. Secondly, email marketing does not work for every e-commerce store. It doesn't make sense to, because what are you going to do? What are you going to market? What are you going to write? What newsletters are you going to write about magnetic chargers? If the only thing that they have is magnetic chargers, and like the only way they're getting email addresses is by selling magnetic chargers, what are you going to do? You're going to sell them another charger? If I were a CMO and here's the thing. If I were a CMO of an e-commerce business that had like a singular product type, I don't know if I would use email. I might like have like an autoresponder set up that has like one email that says like, listen, if you want to buy a second one, here's a discount code. Bingo, bango. Just set up a simple automation. That's a service that you can offer. But if I were a CMO, why the fuck does the world need magnetic charger newsletters? You know what I mean? Nobody woke up this morning sweaty, like screaming into the night, being like, oh my God, I need a newsletter about magnetic chargers. Nobody did that. Not a single person, but maybe one person. So that's something that you got to keep in mind. That's all stuff that you have to consider. And so I don't know if this is working for me. I would say go back to the drawing board, because right now, you have a service. I go, listen, actually offering, accessibility design auditing to small businesses, that's a niche service. That's something where you can really stand out. If you're doing this, you sound like every other email marketer in the world. And one of the biggest problems with email marketers right now is that they don't actually understand why a business would want emails, or when they don't. And so context is key here, man. You got to keep in mind context. No, again, give a reason for how email marketing can work for you. At that point, like, yeah, if you can justify why the world needs like a magnetic charger email list, sure, go for it. Fine. I think my idea about having a simple autoresponder, hey, get your second one of these for a discounted price, is probably all you need. It's one of those things where it's like, I've been with so many businesses where we brought on leads, either free leads or paid leads. And then what we did was I tracked like the actual value of that customer over time. And what we found was that, like, for one of the lists that I was managing, 95% of the lifetime value of that customer occurred within the first 2 weeks. The other 5% like dropped off. And so basically what that told me was like, because again, every email you send has a little bit of a cost to it, either in terms of like the chance of getting like put into the spam filter, the chance of being reported, all that stuff. Basically what we started doing was like just sweeping people off our list after 2 weeks if they didn't buy anything. And guess what happened? Sales went up because deliverability went up. And so the smartest thing to do for that particular list, for that particular product, was actually not to do email marketing to people. But every list and every business is going to be different. The only way to know is to test. These are things that you want to keep in mind. So I hope that helped. I'll take a look at one of these LinkedIn messages. I don't think this is not working for me. No. Hope you're doing well. I made a quick video for you and Rossio, 2 to 3 minutes. just to share some opportunities for clutch chargers in your company's website that you all might be missing. I don't think this is working. Again, I'm not in the headspace right now. I'm just full of acetaminophen. And so if I were in a better spot, I would try to offer some like different copy, but I've already expended that based on what I said earlier. But I don't think this is working right now. If I got a message like this, I would just ignore it. And you don't want that to happen to you. So I think that's everything. Sean, do you have any questions for me or the audience? There's like 34 people watching right now. What can I tell you that will help you? What can I tell you that I have not already told you? I have a sneaking suspicion that Alex would agree with me on at least 83% of what I just said. So, any other questions? Or are you good? We'll wait awkwardly. Nothing I can think about right now. All right. Yeah. No, again, if you have any questions, just throw them in later. I've been trying to do this like for questions that are relevant and interesting. I have been trying to like actually respond to people on the fly. We'll see how that goes as we progress. But let us move on to the next piece of copy that we are going to review today. So there's this context. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. I actually have it handy. This book right here. It was an internal book assembled by Amber Mason, who's a genius. And what she did was she took the memos by the major thinkers at Stansberry and Associates at the time. And basically, it was all about how to make content that's compelling and evocative and interesting. It's very, very, very good resource. So, all right. We got some context here. This is free value to potential prospect. Not entirely sure what that means. I'm sure that means something to somebody. To be sent as a link to outreach email. Sent as a link from? All right. Prospect is real estate agent. Please, God, for the love of God, don't write like a Cro-Magnon. Prospect is real estate agent. Improving his homepage. You know, don't write like that. Don't write like that. Just use full sentences, actually explain stuff. There's a quote that I've been thinking about a lot recently. I think it's Zen Buddhist, not entirely positive, but it's the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. And one thing that I would encourage you to do is to be attentive of small things like this. No, the person that this is for is me on stream. But also, like, I can tell without reading much further that I might have a few problems with either sentence level writing or, how should I say, a lack of clarity of thought. That's just a guess. But again, this stuff biases people. We were talking earlier about that rhetorical snowball, picking up details along the way. Well, it's true for copy in all contexts. So keep that in mind. Question: is the length okay for free value? What the hell is free value? All right. Like, I've been in this business for nearly 20 years at this point. What free value? What are you talking about? Or should I completely finish it? Work with one of the top 1% of California realtors. Would you like to work with the top 1% agents specialized in city? Whether you are buying or selling, I can help you navigate the real estate maze. Contact me and let's work together. Okay. So because of the lack of explanation here, I have to do a little bit of logical jumping. Maybe I messed something up along the way. I apologize if I did. But what I'm piecing together here, because it's not spelled out for me, which is the whole point of having these context sections, is that this free value rather is copy that you have written for a real estate agent to send to their prospects. Wait, hold on. Can you expand more on your experience managing a list for business whose LTV occurred in the first 2 weeks? It wasn't the whole LTV. It was 95% of the LTV occurred in the first 2 weeks. And the reason why I was studying that is because we were originally basing our LTVs. The reason why you calculate 6-month LTV is so that you can adjust CPAs. A lot of you are not going to understand anything that I'm talking about. But what we discovered was that, those 6-month LTVs, we were getting to within 95% of that within the first 2 weeks. And so we decided that it made more sense rather to base that CPA number 80% of the LTV on that 2-week mark rather than 6 months. And then just sweep people off the list there. The way that you get rid of addresses is you go into your CRM and you delete them, or you suppress them. And there are tags and services that do that all automatically. The product was a particular financial publication. It was a newsletter, typical free front end, back end kind of service. So front end is going to be like a magazine. Back end is going to be like a more frequent trading alert. And all the money was coming in the first 2 weeks. Was that true for every business? No. If you tried to do something like that at Stansberry and Associates, they've had customers that have been with that business for 20 years. And so, they have some of the highest LTVs in the business because people keep buying from them. Oxford Club, same thing. But for this business, this list, it was all coming in that first 2 weeks. So, I wish I knew. I wish I had more detail in here where there was supposed to be details. It does look kind of homepagey. Let's look at it. All right. Here's what I'll say. So if this is going out to real estate agents as being like, hey, here's a website, something that you can put onto a website to actually attract prospects to you, then you have to think okay, the client would want to put this on their page, and this has to appeal to their prospective clients, people who would want to work with one of the top 1% of state name realtors. And that for me is already a little confusing, already a little bit off. Don't think it's working. And again, why waste the page space? If you're already saying work with one of the top 1% of realtors, and then your follow-up sentence is, would you like to work with the top 1% agent? That's just wasted real estate. I did a pun. Whether you are buying or selling, I can help you navigate the real estate maze. That's stronger, but also deliciously vague. Contact me and let's work together. Free consultation. Why work with one of the top 1%? You're really hammering on this. The whole point, again, I'm assuming here, I don't know for sure, if this is going on to a web page, and then you're scrolling down on the web page, and your headline here and your subhead here is effectively the same, except now we're asking why. It's not really doing it for me. People are going to ignore the sameness of that. The award is why work with one of these realtors? The award is given by Kreb. to recognize their high level of service. This is some how is Babby formed kind of sentence structure where it's like, where did this come from? Like, how did we go from here to the award is given? That doesn't make any sense. This means that you get a true professional who has proven track. Yeah, there's a breakdown in the parallelism here. There's some basic sentence level stuff that's just not working here. It's just not working. I don't see a real estate agent who would want this. Yeah, this is a free about page. Yeah, this is not working for me. Like first off, if you're going to send this to a real estate agent, you have to really explain like why they would want this, what it's for, where it goes, stuff like that. And then also like, if I were a real estate agent and then somebody sent this to me, and what if my first reaction is like, wait, I'm not one of the top 1% of realtors. I'd love to be, but I'm not. Why are you just saying things? Stop just saying things to say things. That's ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying there? Like, the problem is a lack of specificity. You're using filler words. I'm a top 1% realtor. It doesn't mean anything. Whether you are buying or selling, I can help you navigate the real estate maze. Doesn't say anything. And it doesn't say anything because, again, you're hoping to blast this out to a bunch of real estate agents in the hopes that one will work with you. But I'm telling you right now that the odds of one wanting to work with you seeing this is pretty close to zero. Not entirely zero. You might find an idiot. So, yeah, that's just, it just feels lazy, honestly. So this is not working for me. Definitely provide more context and go into deeper detail a little bit later. Sorry for being a little harsh on this one, but it needs work. And by that, I mean, like, you really think about what you're trying to do here and why. All right. Let's look at this. Oh my gosh. It's a product page. A product page for Copy That. What? Hold on. It's been like 6 months since I've had to explain this. So for those of you who do not know, there is a standing offer where I will actually pay you, person watching, to write copy for our business, Copy That. The way it works is if you are a member of the patreon.com/thecopythatshow. Hold on. I have a banner. I really need to organize these banners so I can find this faster. There you go. Anyway, if you go to copythatshow.com and you go to digital products, you'll see that we have masterclasses. All of these are available, by the way, in the Patreon. And so if you actually go here and click on some of this stuff, you'll notice that we don't really have a lot of copy for these. Again, they're all bundled up in the Patreon. We sell them individually so that people can actually see, like, hey, you can get this here. This is where this is. Speaking of which, I should probably add something here to indicate that it's in the Patreon. Here's an example of one that's been filled out. We actually paid our patrons money. I think it's $150. I forget. To write this copy and write this copy. And we reviewed it on one of these streams, and it was a great experience for everybody involved. It became a little bit of a problem when at Wednesdays were just like 20 of these product pages in a row. That sucked, but we haven't done that in a while, mostly because I haven't been mentioning it. So we don't have a whole lot of copy on this page, and that is what this is trying to be. So this is copy hoping to get that $150. Which, again, that offer is still stands right now. So trust the process, how to write good landing pages. If you still wonder, how do I write a landing page? What even is a landing page? How is it different from a sales page? Don't worry, it's not your fault. A landing page is one of the most confusing concepts in copywriting. That sounds like rhetoric stripped straight from Alex. That's why Alex, a copywriter pro with hundreds of written landing pages under his belt, produced the only masterclass you will ever need to clear up your confusion. And okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to point something out. And I want to emphasize something right here. This little bit of preview text, a little bit about the product, typically, unless it's really strong, needs to be very short. This is 157 words long. Let's go to any Amazon page. Somebody in chat, give me an Amazon product. Anybody, anything. Fidget spinners. I mentioned that earlier. All right. Ripple pimple cream. Love it. Nipples. AC. Okay. What do we got here? It's the same structure. Again, this is a product landing page. So you got the title, you got the preview, you've got a headline, you've got the body copy. Always with the nipples. An Aurora cube. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up later. All right. It's the same thing with our product pages. Let's actually go to a different one. Cash conveyor belt. Our email sequences masterclass. Look at this. Every business wants an automated sequence to open up the revenue streams. And if you can learn to create a profitable email sequences, you can automate revenue for any business you work with. This masterclass will teach you how to use the different types of profitable email sequences to automate revenues for your clients. So, okay, let's look at this. This is the same thing. Fidget spinners. Packaging includes details, high-speed hybrid ceramic ball, round corner and smooth surface. We got some bullets, easy to use, benefits. It's bullet-based. And then look at this. It's bullet-based. But even the intro topic, again, let's reread this. Every business wants this thing to open up revenue streams. And if you can learn to create profitable email sequences, profitable whatever, you can automate revenue for any business you work with. What is that doing there? It's clearly showing what this is. It's calling it out. It's showing how tied this is to money. And then it's showing very clearly within 2 sentences how this can benefit you from learning it. Let's go back to the copy we're reviewing. Do you feel like this is doing that? Is this enticing enough to want to learn more? I don't think so. I don't think this is working because it's not tying this thing to a benefit. And if it's not tied to a benefit, for what reason is anybody going to want to learn it? And if nobody wants to learn it, who the hell is going to buy it? That's what you want to keep in mind. So, yeah, none of this is working right here. So this is not a hey, edit this and resubmit. This is a delete this, try again. So headlines, expert copywriter. These are all too long, all way too long. Expert copywriter reveals the only masterclass you need to master landing pages. Watch him share his hard-earned lessons as he creates a landing page from scratch. The ultimate masterclass you will need on landing pages. Steal a copywriter expert's hard-earned knowledge and watch him write a whole landing page using his proprietary methods. This feels like some ChatGPT stuff. The only masterclass you will ever need on landing pages. Steal a copywriter expert's hard-earned knowledge and watch him use his proprietary methods to write a landing page from scratch. It's, all iterations of the same thing. Yeah, it kills the open. destroys the suspense that we're creating here. I want to, again, compare, because I'm a fan of this one. Look at this. Unlock the hidden profits from email sequences and automate revenue for your clients. Imperative. Unlock this financial benefit from specific thing and additional benefit. And it doesn't feel or sound like every other thing out there. That's what you want to accomplish here with your headlines. All right? So none of these work for me. So landing pages are without a doubt one of the most lucrative gigs you can get paid for as a copywriter. I'm going to give that a C. It's passing. They are crucial for every business who is serious about getting more leads and increasing their revenue. Oh. I think I want to go back to what Mr. Harsh is saying. Because even in a single sentence, the order in which you reveal things can have a huge rhetorical impact. Now, again, I'm pumped up full of cold medicine. I sound like a frog, but I'm going to give some extemporaneous copywriting a try. There is one type of copy that every business needs. In fact, without this type of copy, a business is pretty much guaranteed to fail. The people who know how to write this type of copy can command huge payouts every single month because of the power that this type of copy has for generating huge amounts of revenue for businesses over and over again. What kind of copy am I talking about? Landing pages. Do you see what I just did there? Just off the dome, I'm building up desire, building up interest in what we're talking about. Even though everybody on this page knows that we're talking about landing pages, sentence by sentence, it still builds tension and yearning and interest and enticement. Again, that's what we're paying you for. If you're writing copy, that's what you're getting paid for. So again, think about that. Think about how you order things, the way you reveal details, how you gradualize the reveal of things. These are the things that you want to think about when you write. You're not just you're coming out of the gate and being like, landing pages are great. You can make money. Compare that to the copy that I just spoke. Think about that. But how can you master this invaluable skill with the flood of information out there on the internet? These sentences are too long. Nobody's going to read them. Again, 3 lines on this. When you go to a different page like this, it gets really hard to read. The eye has to track it all and then keep track of where it is in the paragraph. The reason why, and a lot of, people on our copywriting do not understand this, is if this were written in clumpy paragraphs, like 3 to 4 line paragraphs, it would do terribly for 1 as copy, and 2, nobody would be able to read it, let alone want to read it. So keep that in mind. Shares hard-earned proven knowledge that has 3.8 millions. Not just one 3.8 million, but multiple 3.8 millions. You'll get all his knowledge and best practices in one single, concise, action-focused masterclass. This lead is not working for me. Go back to the drawing board. Again, start from blank page. Tighten up your copy. There's just some stuff that you're writing where it's like, this would be stronger if it were like 3 short sentences rather than 1 long one. Now let's look at 2 of your bullets at random. Revealed. The foolproof step-by-step approach that helped Alex repeatedly nail winning landing pages in any market for any client. That's a strong bullet. I'm going to give that a B. B+. Strong bullet. All right. All right. Talk about stupid simple. Here's how to make your landing page far more persuasive for your ideal prospects. Ignore this at your own cost, and your copy will forever be generic and forgettable to everyone. This person sounds like they have been practicing bullets. Their bullets, pretty strong. These are strong bullets. I do not hate these bullets. I would buy these bullets. Again, you're running into some, like, especially as we get down here, longer sentence issues. But you're not running into that problem with your bullets. Interesting how that works. But your bullets so far, everything that I've looked at, solid. It's where you get into the longer paragraphs that you now it's time to ascend and begin practicing longer paragraphs, longer sentences, longer sections. Your bullet writing is strong. Now start applying the logic of bullets to individual sentences. They don't have to sound like a bullet, but you're still trying to build up that enticement. Keep that in mind. All right. I do not know if this person is watching, Mario, but thank you for your copy. Let's move on to, we are going to share this one. Oh my gosh, it's another one. We got 2. Funny. All right. So, hey, Sean, here's a little context before you continue reading. A couple months ago, I submitted a piece of copy. We copied that's products. Alex's different, relevant, successful masterclass. During that week's Western Wednesday, you and Rob mentioned that I should resubmit it because you have to take care of your kids and you would bump it to the top. I apologize for not doing that. The next one, so Wednesday, Rod said the copy is good and I don't need to change it except for some line edits and that I should DM him or anyone from your team my copy again. I haven't heard back from him. Yeah, we've all been insanely busy. So I want to look at this in private, and I'm going to do so either tonight or tomorrow, but this has already been on Whetstone Wednesday 3 times. I'm just going to look at it privately, but like if you fixed all the problems that we had with it initially, then we would just give you $150. If again, I'm not remembering correctly, if that's the amount, I'll have to check that. But yeah, hold on, let me see. Different, relevant, successful. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need copy for it. So let me look at this by myself, and then I will get back to it. So thank you very much for sending this back in. Sorry that it's been such a delay. Okay. This is an email sequence. Look at this. All right. Explanation. Email 1, no response received. It's not an explanation. I don't know what the hell is going on. What's going on? All right. It was a table of contents. That's what's going on. Explanation. Company. Northern Institute is a private career college in Canada with a long history of helping students launch careers in Toronto and Montreal. Goal is to incite leads, that is prospective students, to connect with an advisor, member of the sales team to enroll in the Northern Institute's e-commerce program. Stage and funnel. Leads have provided their contact information after clicking on a Meta or PPC ad, then filling out a form on a landing page. A member of the sales team will call the prospect. If they are unable to make contact, the prospect will receive an email. This happens 4 times, and that's what the emails we are looking at. Email 1 after no response receives. Which of these 2 paths will you take? Two paths stand before you. To the left, work for a marketing agency, corporation, or NGO, take on roles like e-commerce strategist. To the right, the entrepreneurial route. Become your own boss by building an online company from the ground up. It's not an easy choice, is it? Thankfully, you don't have to commit to one path. Some start an agency and then make their own company. Others, it's a lot of words to be like, yo, you missed our call. Would you like to set up an appointment and we'll call you again? So I don't know. The ones who are most successful, many of them give back to the community by becoming mentors and educators, like the instructors of e-commerce and online business management. I understand what you're trying to do here. You are trying to entice a person who, didn't get the call, et cetera, et cetera. And you're trying to do this. To the left, there's these options. To the right, there's these options. You don't know what you want to do with your life, yada, yada, yada. But you also don't have to commit to one path because you have the access to these resources. Whatever path you choose, our instructors will show you how to walk it. Each of them will be teaching a curriculum designed specifically to help you enter the job market, change careers, advance your career. Those feel weak and unspecific, but maybe that works for this type of copy. To learn more, schedule a call with your advisor. I would also include the person's phone number in there as well. I know that's 2 CTAs, but it works. The one thing that I have to say about this is that I just don't know. I just don't know if this is working. Here, I might have copy in my swipe file that is exactly what this is trying to do. Hold on one second. Here we go. So this is a swipe from a university. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, that's an issue as well. Like, I don't think it's going to resonate. And my problem is that it's like, what has been the customer journey so far? This person has provided their contact information after clicking an ad. They filled out a form on a landing page. A member of the sales team called them. They didn't make contact. Okay. And so this is potentially the first thing that a person is going to see from this thing that they signed up for after they signed up for it. So here's a swipe from Johns Hopkins University. Thank you for your interest. It just starts out like this. Dear person, and it has a little hero image at the top. Let me see if I can share this tab. All right. Thank you for your interest in the Masters of Science of Finance program at Johns Hopkins Carey Business School. This is the exciting first step towards building what's next for your career. The part-time Master of Science and Finance program equips you with a strong practical foundation for analyzing all aspects of finance. You will gain the technical skills needed to create innovative solutions in the rapidly changing global market. If you're not quite ready to apply yet, here is some information about the part-time Master of Science degree. Build your network. Prepare for the CFA exam. Online format. Grow your quantitative skills. Prepare for what's next. All of the things, by the way, that a prospective applicant to JHU would probably want and be thinking about. The CFA exam obviously would be top of mind for somebody who put in their email address to receive information about a Master in Science and Finance program. Okay. So this is an example of a first email. And look at how it's opening up. Thank you for your interest in this specific thing at this specific program. You've made an excellent choice by doing this today. That's not what it's saying, but that's what it's implying. Clear CTA. If you're ready to apply, start your application here. All right. Now let's go back to this email. If I get this, do I immediately know who it's from? Not really. Here's the thing. If I, was high on Percocet and I put in my email address into this particular academy at like 3 o'clock in the morning, am I going to remember doing that? Probably not. So I'm not going to have any context for all of this. I'm not going to remember or be able to piece together all of it. You need to, especially when you're writing a first email to somebody, you need to ground them in context and let them know why they are getting the email that they're getting very quickly. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. All right. An e-commerce crisis. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to make these not boring. You're trying to make these super interesting. The problem with what you're doing is that it's going out to people presuming that they have knowledge that they don't have, presuming that they have interests that they don't have. If a person doesn't know whom this is coming from, what this is all about, why they're getting these emails, immediately, people are very snappy about this kind of thing. They're not going to give your cutesy creative stuff the time. It's something you got to keep in mind. Now let's look at the cutesy creative stuff on its own merit. Business owner, what do these numbers mean? Why is no one ordering my soups? Revenue per visitor, 0. Customer acquisition cost, 1,000. Bounce rate, 99%. Business owner, oh nice, I got a review. Review 1 star. Yeah. I've not heard that quote, but it certainly applies here. The stupidest thing you can do is try to write copy without knowing what the prospect was doing 5 seconds ago. I don't know if that's necessarily true, especially for email broadcast copy, but if you're talking to somebody like who's getting these emails, you got to ground them, like provide context. A lot of different ways you can do that. So, business owner, I don't understand what this is trying to do. You almost feel bad for this business owner, don't you? No, because I don't understand this narrative that you're drawing here. So you have business owner 1. What do these numbers mean? Business owner, oh nice, I got a review. And then the review is 1 star. So this business owner is experiencing different things at different stages that show that the person doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I don't think this is working. This is not working. It's confusing. It's trying to do too many things. Yeah, and so what this person is saying is, I think there are times when you cannot copy financial ideas to the e-com. Listen, there are plenty of e-com stores that sell a story. There was one Australian soap brand that was amazing at this. I wish I remembered the name of it. But this particular soap brand would literally have these very almost sultry, almost sexual stories that, and they it would be from the perspective of the soap wanting to touch your body. It worked really, really well. This email sequence is not for e-com, but story can work for e-com. Rarely, but it can. It's possible. But story is hard to pull off. Story is especially hard to pull off when what you're trying to do is get a person to book a call that they missed based on interest that they already showed. You tell a story to somebody and you reveal a story to somebody when there's already a little reluctance, already a little like, I'm not sure what this is, I'm not sure what's going on. You're trying to hook people in with a really captivating good story or anecdote or whatever. But the people who are getting this email already actively filled out a form and said, I want more information. They just missed a call. So the email should be about scheduling that goddamn call. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't think this is working. How not to run a social media campaign. Check out my social media campaign to help my company, Fun Soups Co., sell soups online. I don't think this is not going to fly. It seems like you had fun writing this. Kudos to you. But a lot of my like fun copy where I write for a product where I'm just like, I'm just going to be silly. I just bury that, delete it, put it away. It's not something that I would use as a sample. It's not something I would send into a client. This I just don't think is working. Yeah. I do not think it's working. So again, it's just there's a comment here. Yeah, customer journey mismatch. I think that's the best way to put it. Where there's clearly a disconnect between like what is going to be effective in the context of this particular campaign. And if a person signed up and was just like, yeah, give me like insights into like doing this kind of stuff, and that's what these emails were about, you're on to something. But that's not what this is about. This is basically being like, hey, you missed your dentist appointment. Give us a call. That's what this should be. Keep it simple. Make it simpler. I was once writing a welcome email for a surfing company. He said, I'm looking for voice of company. What is it? What? I was once writing an welcome email for a surfing company, and he once said, I'm looking for the voice of company. What is, you're asking me, what is a voice of a company? When I was writing that, I was trying to look in my head and I was trying to feel out as I was writing it what the voice of the company should be. Now, what is a voice of a company? Every company has a tone. They use specific words in a specific order. They use certain details. They use a certain register of language. When I was writing that particular welcome email, it was for a surfing company. Now, imagine you signed up to receive emails from a surfing company, a surfing instruction company. And the email from this surfing instruction company was, thank you for your interest in Pro Surfing Shop. This exciting surfing shop is your next step towards learning how to surf. Like, give me a break, man. Like, that would suck. No, you use the voice to match the copy to the tone that somebody would expect from that kind of business. In the case of a surf shop, I specifically chose that stereotypical, like, gnarly dude kind of attitude. So. Whoever wrote this, good stuff. Take this lesson and don't flop a $1,000 campaign because of customer journey like I did. Most embarrassing moment of my life. Listen, if your most embarrassing moment was botching a $1,000 campaign, you have led a good life. I have botched $30,000 campaigns. Trust. It is not pleasant. Anyway, I'm going to move on. If Christo Pistol, if you are in the chat, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to move to the next thing. Oh, and the person's in the chat. Okay. Wes, please can you review this coaching program monthly subscription product page? Context is provided in the link review. Context. This is the product page for a coaching program, monthly subscription. Do coaching programs need product pages? Are they better suited for product pages or are they better suited for sales pages? I'm not asking rhetorically. I'm legitimately asking myself. I guess I will give this a go and see what's up. All right. This is a product page for this. The target audience is women looking to start their own business, grow their current business, or further their corporate career. Prospects will land on this page via links from these things. Start their own business, grow their current business, or further their corporate career. Okay. Below is a quote from the creator coach on their coaching service and target audience. Coaching is purely results and accountability coaching. Doesn't matter what area they're in, whether it's stay-at-home mom, someone in business, someone starting business, or someone in career. My coaching approach is to just help them get clear on what they really want. Coaching is purely results and accountability coaching. Yeah, okay. If I were writing a sales page about this, yeah, I would really emphasize that heavily. So if accountability is the solution, what is the problem? Yeah, the problem is that like a lack of clarity. Now, how do you gussy that up? Too much cold medicine, man. I'm telling you. Clarity plus accountability equals results plus great life. That tagline sucks. Do a different tagline. Don't tell that to your client, but like that tagline could use some work because it's nonsensical. Oh. Clarity plus accountability equals results plus great life. All right. I want to emphasize something really quick. I've noticed this over my career. I've worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of juniors. I have written dozens of promos, sales pages, product pages. I've written and rewritten a lot of copy. I've tested a lot of copy. I've tested a lot of angles. I've discovered a few things through testing. You know, most of you know me and know that I'm the it depends guy. Oh, should it be this thing or this thing? It depends. In the course of my career, I've seen one thing fail over and over again. Indisputably. Like I'm at the point in my career where I can say this just doesn't work. And it's word equations. Writers love them. Business owners love them. They do not work. Why? I have some guesses, but the only why I need to know is that they don't work because they don't fucking work. They just don't sell. They don't capture attention. They are not provocative. They're not unique. They're not interesting. They don't hook people. They're not useful. They're not urgent. It just doesn't work. And again, I know that a lot of you are just like, oh, that seems like a really interesting, like fun way to phrase things and put stuff. We've all been there. We've all had half-baked, ham-handed ideas, and this is one of them. Don't do this. Especially don't do this in your headline. Listen, one of you may be watching this right now and being like, this Sean dude sounds like a fucking idiot. I'm going to do that. And listen, if you make $1 million using a word equation in a headline, let me know, write to me, show me, and I will eat my words. I will publicly say, hey, about that, I was completely wrong. And I'm a terrible person for telling all these newbies about that. I'm sorry. That's what I'll say live on stream. I have no shame because if I'm wrong, I've learned something. But here's another thing that I've learned over the years. This doesn't fucking work. So don't do it. No, they don't. They don't. I've tried. I've seen other people try. I've seen a lot of other people try. Always fails. It just doesn't work. No, even if you blur it out, it just doesn't work. It does not work. Again, trust me on this, guys. I've tested this out the butt because I love math and I love words. So learn from my failures and learn from the failures of again, I've seen this a lot out there in the world. It's a cliche. It's possibly one of the reasons why it doesn't work ever. I think these words don't mean anything because the idea was, again, we're talking about that rhetorical snowball. You got to pick up some details in order for things to actually be evocative. These are not symbols which already hold meaning for the prospect. Yeah. Listen, if it's one thing that I've learned as a equity analyst, a writer of financial editorial and copy over many years, is that people do not understand math, even simple math. They see the most basic of math and their eyes glaze over. They ignore it. They have been accustomed to and trained to ignore it. Is that why word equations don't work? Maybe. All I know is that they don't work. So don't do them. Okay, maybe this would work. Oh my God. I make myself laugh. I'm sorry. Yeah, this doesn't work. Again, you are going to get immense pushback from your client on this because guess what? They did that. They wrote that and they were like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. I am so clever. Just like every other fucking copywriter who's ever tried to do a word equation. It's not clever. It's bad. It doesn't work. So don't put it as your headline. The most important piece of copy in your page is your headline. Why would you use something that doesn't work? Don't do it. It doesn't work. You can disagree. Again, go test it. Prove me wrong. I have no ego. I'm a marketer. I am not an evangelist. I want to learn things and I want to see people make money and I want people to prove me wrong. Again, if you use a word equation and it clearly outperforms everything else, if it's clearly like, oh my God, this word equation is like the best thing to put into a headline in this particular context, I will, again, totally acknowledge that you're right. But I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong on this. You can test it. You'll lose some money along the way. All right. So that's enough about word equations. I apologize for droning on about that for very long. I'm a little traumatized by my persistent experiences with them. Imagine waking up every day and feeling empowered and in control of your destiny. You're achieving your goals, surpassing your expectations, and living a life filled with joy and purpose. Okay, here's what I like, and here's what I don't like about this. What I like about this is it's painting a picture in people's minds about a desired self. Love that. That's what we want to do as copywriters. Now, here's what I don't like about this. It's using only abstract words. There's another headline complex that I want to show you guys that does basically the same thing, accomplishes the same things rhetorically, but does it better using concrete language and not abstract language. What do I mean by abstract language? Feeling empowered, What does that mean? What is that? What does it look like? What does it smell like? Control of your destiny. Again, now we're starting to play around with cliches. The problem with cliche language is that people can bucket it, people can ignore it. You're achieving your goals. Again, a cliche, and it's abstract. Surpassing your expectations. Cliche, abstract. Living a life filled with joy and purpose. Not cliche, but what is joy? What is purpose? Now, I'm going to show you a example of a sales letter that uses this exact kind of headline structure, but does it 80,000 times better. In fact, it does it so many times better that this sales letter I'm about to show you literally launched a multi-million-dollar business 40 years ago. All right, are we ready? Imagine you look out your window past your gardener who is busily pruning the lemon, cherry, and fig trees amidst the splendor of gardenias, hibiscus, and hollyhocks. The sky is clear blue. The sea is a deeper blue, sparkling with sunlight. A gentle breeze comes drifting in from the ocean, clean and refreshing, as your maid brings you breakfast in bed. For a moment, you think you have died and gone to heaven. But this paradise is real and affordable. In fact, it costs only half as much to live this dream lifestyle as it would to stay in your own home. How many of these words and phrases are cliche? 0. How many of these words and phrases are very concrete? Many. How many are abstract? Gosh, maybe clean and refreshing, but I think by that point, it's justified it. You understand what I'm saying here? Compare that with, do you want to wake up every day feeling empowered and in control of your destiny? Or do you want to wake up bounding out of bed and see your gardener busily pruning your orchard of lemon trees? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Abstract language is a copy killer and a conversion killer. It works for some people, but it doesn't work at scale, and it doesn't create a deep connection to copy. It's very surface level, if that makes sense. And so if you want to be a good copywriter, you want to look for opportunities to take this abstract language and find ways to make it concrete. Died and gone to heaven equals cliche, but well, yeah. Listen, I'm not, again, not an evangelist. There are places for cliches. There are places for abstract terms. But if you're opening, again, this is a privileged position. This is the opening of a sales page, and it's just all cliches and all abstract language. It's weak. Yeah, it's interesting because I know the copywriter who has the best promo at Mind Valley, and I've read his promotions, and it's interesting because a lot of what their best promotions do is actually start with a story, a very concrete story. They had the guru once. Oh God, he was talking about like being brain damaged or something like that, which you got to be a little brain damaged to want to get into copy and marketing. And he was like really spelling out this evocative, interesting story. And along the way, he talked about feeling disempowered and, using abstract language like that. But it was in the context of a concrete story. So Mind Valley, when it hits, it's actually being pretty specific and concrete. Sometimes, especially the written copy, it gets a little fluffy. My problem with abstract and cliche language is that it's fluffy. Must have been pre-TV when everyone read novels. No, this was in like the early 90s. Like, there's, especially among young people, there's this incredible prejudice against like sales letter copywriting. And what I'm trying to encourage you guys to think about is the fact that this stuff still works. And if you are selling info products, especially written info products, you don't want your copy to be flashbang, short, punchy, retention optimized, etc. No. You want your copy to lure in readers because that's what your product is. Like, again, formats can qualify people, and you want to keep that in mind. That is definitely not his quote, but he is definitely onto something there. When was the last time I shared this on story? I was having lunch with the person who did conversion rate optimization for banks. Like, they would go and do landing page optimization for like Citibank. That was their job. They would get paid a lot of fucking money to look at the landing pages for banks and see if they can improve people either becoming customers or calling in or setting up accounts or whatever. And I asked her a question at an event we were both at. And my question was, you're a CRO. So one of the things that a CRO or conversion rate optimizer has to contend with is clients being like, yeah, I don't want my landing page to be too long, or I don't want to use this angle or stuff like that. So her job is to be like, let's let the data tell us. And here's the thing. I asked her, okay, what's one A/B test that almost always or always wins, but that clients never expect or want to win? And without missing a beat, she said this: long copy. The longer the page, the better it converts. Every time. Clients never want to test long copy, but every time they do, it wins. She does convert. Nobody wants to read bank copy. Nobody. Not a single person on planet Earth wants to read copy from a bank. Nobody. Long bank copy wins because long copy wins. Again, we're marketers. We're not evangelists. We test. We figure out what works in different contexts and for different people at different times. But one thing that we've seen over and over and over again, long copy wins. Doesn't mean it's always going to win. It just means long copy wins. Yeah, sorry. It's one of my go-to stories for like proving a point. I think it proves that point very, very well. So, long copy wins. Sean, you mentioned beats. Did I? Again, hazy from the cold medicine. What does Kyle Milligan mean by beats? I think Kyle has a special definition for it. I'm sure he does. When Kyle is talking about beats, he's talking about the beats of a sales letter, which is that as you read a sales letter and you read enough of them, you start to notice that there's a recurring pattern. You expect this to happen, this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. There's a cadence, a regularity to it, almost like the beat of a drum. And so the beats of a sales letter is a metaphor to describe that there are certain reoccurring things that happen in sequence in sales letters typically. And so if you want to learn how to write a good sales letter, you should probably learn that order, that structure, the beats that you have to hit. That's what I assume Kyle is talking about, because that would be how I would use it. And Kyle and I see eye to eye on like 80% of things. Why? Listen, what was I saying before about word equations? What was I saying before about like, why do things work or why not? You could never know. You can't survey every single person who visits something and buys or doesn't buy and be like, why did you buy this based on this? Why did you not buy this based on this? You can't do that. It's an ad hoc inference. Based on like looking at heat maps, that is like where people scroll to and like what people look at, what people linger on, what people click on. What you notice with long copy is that it invites people to skim more. And what that does is it allows you to have more page space to overcome different objections or to present different features and benefits. We all know that a single bullet can sell somebody on something. That's it. So it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. A single bullet can sell somebody on something. A long sales page or a long landing page simply gives you the opportunity to have more possible bullets that tip people over the edge. Is that clearly why? It's not something we can know. Again, ad hoc or post hoc ergo propter hoc. There you go. So all we do is test, and we try to find what's working based on those tests. But the why, can't know why. It just does. How's everybody doing so far? Frustrated and some bonus just after hearing from Sean, I think that I had a little idea about what it means. All right. Great. Awesome. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you, those of you who have stuck around. Let's continue reading this coaching product page. Now, picture the opposite, feeling stuck, frustrated, and far from where you want to be. Again, abstract. I've been there, and I know how tough it can be. Through my one-on-one coaching, you can learn from my journey and avoid all the costly mistakes I made along the way. Your path to success can be so much clearer with the personalized support and guidance my coaching provides. All right. I'm of torn minds about this. It's a product page, you know, so the copy, it doesn't need to be great. It just needs to exist. Product pages, what do you need to do? You need to call out, you need to provide some sort of like useful benefit, and you need to basically like, oh, what is the other part of the formula? Oh, overcome some objection. And that's what you want to do in the headline typically. For a product page, you want to call out, provide some useful benefit or USP, and then you want to overcome some objection. It's not doing this, and so far we haven't done that here. And yeah, it's a product page. I don't know if it's working so great for me, but it's one of those things where it's like, I've worked with enough coaches and I've seen enough coaches who don't know copy, who think they know copy. And this is very frequently the kind of thing that I've seen a lot of clients actively want copy like this. And then you submit something like this to them and they go, oh my God, you're a genius. And then they pay you. And then 3 months later, they wonder why their sales suck. And it's because nobody wakes up in the morning wanting an accountability coach. You know, like how many of you woke up this morning being like, God, I just always forget to brush my teeth. I need to pay money to somebody to remind me to brush my teeth. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. And so when I read this, I go, it's hitting on those standard tropes. It's not unique. It's not very special. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't spell out a USP. I'm just listing the things that I'm noticing this doesn't have. The things that leave me wanting, the things that make me say that this copy is not great. But also, I've been around the block enough to know that there are people out there that look at this copy and go, yes, I want that for my business. Yes, this is exactly the type of tone and language I want to use to sell me. And so you as a copywriter, you have to walk a tightrope. You have to, if you're getting incentivized on like net sales, you should push back on this. But if this is the kind of thing that the client wants, this is the kind of thing that the client gets. Client's always right. Here you go. Have a great life. Write me a testimonial before you realize how poorly this works. So there you go. To change the angle. I'm talking about desire. Mr. and or Mrs. Mockingjay, did you wake up this morning desiring, I don't know, a roll of blue tape? No? Well, in that case, you probably might have broken something and been like, oh man, I need to tape that up. And then you search online and you find something that's like, hey, this is tape. It'll help you tape it up. The message is matched to the desire. There are some products out there, especially info products, coaching, newsletters, reports, sometimes books, but people will buy a book, where you have to wonder, like, is this something that people nascently desire? And the bed test is a very simple way of looking at a product and being like, do people wake up? Do people yearn for this? Do people want this? Like when they're alone, like without thinking of it. If people do want it, you don't need a whole lot of copy to sell them on something. People wake up being like, man, I want a bigger TV. People wake up being like, man, I want a Bugatti. Why don't you see any long form Bugatti ads? It's because people want Bugattis. People wake up wanting a Bugatti. People don't wake up wanting a newsletter. People don't wake up wanting a chondroitin joint supplement. They might wake up and be like, oh, ow, my knees. Oh, I wish there was some solution to that. That's where your copy can come in. But you have to catch people at the right time. That's what I mean. That's the bed test. What I think about including testimonials on this page, she has some great testimonials. That's awesome. Yes. Listen, this client, this coach right here, social proof will mask bad copy a lot of the time. And in fact, you might consider offering her two options. One, with what she's looking for and what she wants. And two, hey, I did this version, maybe give it a shot. And the headline can be a really spicy testimonial from somebody. Give it a shot. See if it works better. Something to keep in mind. These are just standard offer stuff. Nothing that's really jumping out to me. The one thing that I would encourage you, and again, I've met clients who are just not into this. I've done this for too long. I have the curse of knowledge. I've been around clients who are just if you in your copy were here's what separates my coaching from everybody else's. And then you spell out what's different or what's better. Even if it's basically the same as everybody else, you can still be like, here's what sets me apart. And then say the same thing as everybody else. You're just saying hey, I'll help you stay truly accountable. I'm the only coach in the world that has mastered the art of accountability. Saying something like that. She might hate it. The coach might hate it. And so that's a tightrope that you got to walk. But again, what you're doing there, what you're trying to do there is clearly identify, this is what sets me apart. This is what makes me different. And if your copy doesn't have that, well, the question that you got to ask from a prospect's perspective is, why would I want this coach and not some other? Coaches are a dime a dozen at this point. You could, again, overcome that, really show that this person is unique by showing that they work using testimonials. Testimonials go a long way. So the answer to your question is yes. I think you should include feedback somewhere on this page. So be more results and lead with the USP, but showing how it's easier, faster, safer, sell this better. I don't know if you always need to lead with the USP, but again, like, what makes this unique? You know, there are plenty of ways to sell somebody. There are plenty of benefits that you can articulate, especially for coaching, especially for an accountability coach. The thing is that you want to find those concrete results. And I got to be honest, Wes, I think that the answer is going to be in your testimonials. I think that you want this copy, some of this copy, not to be one for one the testimonials, the good testimonials that you have per se, but you want it to use some of the language, the concrete language that the testimonials provide. I hope that makes sense. People are talking about value hierarchy, things like that. All right, that conversation is a little too abstract. I'm not going to show it on the screen. But Wes, do you have any questions for me before I move on? Let me know. Moving on. All right. We have 1, 2, 3 pages left, and then we're done because my throat hurts and I would like to take a nap because I'm old and I'm sick. All right. Boom. Context. This is a client of mine who runs a cat sanctuary. I love this. This is amazing. Cat sanctuary. I cannot wait for this. Now, this is copy that I woke up in the morning wanting to read. Yeah, listen, you can organize the what I'm trying to talk about in your mind however you like. I don't go around being like, what is this person's value system? I'm sure there are plenty of copybooks and gurus who like say like, oh, if you want to sell somebody something, you have to understand their value system. Then you have to align the thing that you're selling with the value system. And this person is probably Alex Hormozy because he's a very smart dude. Might be Charlie Morgan. Doesn't really matter. The thing that you have to understand is that like you don't need to go to such intellectual extremes to understand what I'm talking about. People want a Bugatti because they want to look good, because they want to feel good about themselves. Like people, I use the bed test because I think it's simpler to understand that than aligning things with the value system. You know what I mean? Like I use the bed test. Does the prospect wake up desiring this thing in the morning? As my litmus test for basically saying like, okay, what kind of angle do I need to use? How long should the copy be? What type of copy should it be? Things like that. And if I'm selling a product that like people wake up being like either, yes, I want this, or fuck, I need this. Like you can be so direct because people just came to your copy already wanting the thing. It's only when they do not wake up wanting the thing that you have to be more indirect. Easy peasy. No value systems were harmed in the creation of this heuristic. Context. This is a client of mine who runs a cat sanctuary. All right, I'm really looking forward to this. Sincerely. They foster cats and provide cat adoptions. Everybody who's logging into the stream right now logged in at the best time because this is going to be the best piece of copy that we looked at today. Their primary source of revenue is the donations they receive. Target audience, motherfucking cat lovers. Hell yeah. Fears, well, cat lovers, they fear a cat they can't help. Oof. Actually, that makes me sad a little bit. Desires, cat lovers, they want to create a job. Create a job that helps cats? They want to fund helping cats. They want to facilitate safe places for cats. All right. Copy from landing page, CTAs to donate. I'm curious if this is good enough to use in my portfolio as a spec piece, as my client was not interested in using this. Oh, interesting. Thank you for your time. All right. So we have an excerpt from a landing page. We don't have a headline. And the client, we know that the client was just like, nah, hard pass, bruh. Oh, let's see what's going on. 3.2 million cats are either born in a shelter, surrendered, or abandoned each year. 530,000 of which are euthanized. There's a simpler way to write this. 3.2 million cats don't have a home. Period. Done. Again, we're copywriters. We don't write a policeman meandered to the automobile. We write the cop walked to the car. And so here you have, what are you trying to say here? There are 3.2 million cats in a shelter right now, every year. And of those cats, this amount will be euthanized. Are you courageous enough to stand with us as we stand? Remember earlier in the stream where I was like, you have to pay attention to like subtle repetitions. This is, oh God. Let me see if I remember. I think it's Anaphylaxis. To stand as we stand up. So here, are you courageous enough to stand with us? That is to metaphorically align your values with ours. So that's one meaning of stand. With as we stand up for four-legged friends. This is a rhetorical trope. I want to see if I remember it correctly. Hold on. I'm going to find this. Rhetoric. Antanaclasis is the word for this. Now, if you were intending to use antanaclasis here, I don't think it's working because antanaclasis runs the risk of drawing a lot of attention to itself and sounding a little cheesy. Not only does this sound cheesy, it sounds a little salesy. And I can understand why a client might be like, I don't know if I want to put that out there into the world. If somebody rejected, are you courageous enough to stand with us as we stand for our four-legged friends? If the client rejected that, I don't think that they're going to buy America's House Cat Holocaust. Sorry, Evan. That's funny. It's too funny. So yeah, I can immediately see the problems with this, where a client who is scared of aggressive copy would see this and be like, what the hell? Now, there is a business, a nonprofit business that uses this kind of copy really, really well. St. Jude's Hospital. Get mailers, like sign up for the list and receive donation mailers from St. Jude's Hospital. Their copy is world class. It is a good example of a style of direct response copy that has existed since 1981 and has not changed one little bit in 40 years because it doesn't have to, because it still really works. It's really good. The one thing, though, is that when you're aggressive, you run the risk of putting negative affect onto your prospect, onto the person reading. And basically what you're saying here is if you don't donate, you're a fucking coward. I can understand why a business owner might not want to say that. You understand what I mean? So keep that in mind. Know where your donation goes. Did you know only 76% of your dollar goes to life-saving animal programs when donating to big nationwide organizations? This line needs more context. It needs more context. Like, I don't, this feels dropped in without context. Every cent of every dollar that you donate goes directly to ensuring that we are able to maintain and continue to facilitate a safe, happy, healthy environment for over 150 feline companions. This feels small compared to this. If you are leading with this, this doesn't work. You understand what I mean? If I came at you and said, oh my God, there's a huge problem. Millions of people are dying of super AIDS. If you donate to me today, I can help 150 of them get cured from super AIDS. It doesn't feel meaningful. You understand what I mean? Yeah, like we can make people feel bad sometimes. Here it doesn't work. And you're always going to encounter some clients who never want to make people feel bad whatsoever. It's never been easier, and no donation is too small. Simply follow the link and choose them. Yeah, you're going right to a CTA, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about your organization. I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about your facilities. You're not showing me a picture of any of the cute cats that make me feel really bad. I was excited about this copy, and now I'm disappointed in this copy. This copy needs more sad, cute pictures of cats. You show a sad, cute picture of a cat and say, are you going to help this little guy find a home? You're going to get money. So again, it's a different angle. It's a different style of approach. I see what you're trying to do here, and I can understand from the perspective of your client why it didn't work, why they didn't want it. I hope me explaining this to you helped illuminate that, like explain why they didn't want it and why it's not working. So hopefully, yeah. Hopefully this made sense. Chris Craft copy. So hopefully everything I talked about so far has helped explain like what went wrong here and how to do it better next time. Again, for donation stuff, there's very little that's more powerful than like demonstration or proof. Like, where is the money going? People have a lot of skepticism and fear of donating to organizations. And so a lot of the objections that you have to overcome in charity copy is proving to them that your organization is worth donating to. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I enumerated some over the course of the stream. I really hope that helps. If you're in the chat, please ask questions. Let me go through the chat really quick. What did they do to you in Japan? You look terrible and old. God damn. Talking about making people feel bad. I look old because I am old. I'm turning 40 this year. Come on, guys. What the hell? I also haven't slept because I'm jet lagged and I'm sick. Man. Making me question this doing a live stream thing. This was my first official piece of copy for my first client. This was very eye-opening, and I appreciate the perspective and clarification. For the record, plenty of cat pics are on the site. Yeah, it's, again, I understand what you're doing here. I understand what you're trying to do. Even in this context, even if there are other pictures on the site, if you have a dedicated landing page or sales page just for donations, like, again, I don't know where this copy was going to live. I don't have that context. If it was a specific landing page that you drove traffic to, you would want to include additional, maybe just a few sad cat pics. Also, name the cat. This little Ursula has a home tonight because of you. Things like that. That, for me, is more powerful rhetorically than, are you courageous enough to stand with us? You understand what I'm saying? One puts a positive affect. I am the type of person who helps save cats. Versus, are you calling me a coward? What the hell? That kind of thing. Going back to, oh, hold on. I'm not reading the rest of the comment. Is this going to be about attention span? This might be about attention span. Going back to saying long copy wins. In the modern digital age where people's attention spans are decreasing. I didn't even read that, and I knew you were going to ask about it. It's a completely fucked up, false dichotomy. I will eventually, I'm going to do a video. That video is going to be 90 minutes long. And the entire point and premise of the video is long copy wins. That's it. That's going to be the whole point of the video. Just for fun, I'm going to make it 90 minutes long. And so, again, the belief that people's attention spans are decreasing is completely false. How do I know this? Because people will sit there for 10 hours and actually just stare at their phone and flip through things. It's not that their attention span is decreasing. It's that the amount of things competing for their attention has increased. Their attention span has increased. And so if you are able to get their attention, what we found in the digital age is that promos have gotten longer. Back in the direct mail days, like 80s, 90s, a standard financial promo used to be 4 to 16 pages. Now they're like 100. They're only 100 because we live in this digital age. Long copy wins. People's attention spans have gotten longer. I've been in marketing long enough to know this. I did not forget to shave. I shaved earlier. This is what happens when I shave down and then I have a 5 o'clock shadow. What the hell, man? A rule of one when writing copy for donations, saying a specific person and telling their story and showing how the donator is the hero when they donate to a specific person. Yeah, listen, I've seen that plenty of times in charity copy, so it works. You can't wait for my 90-minute long copy always wins video. Long copy always wins. Anyway, let's move on to the next bit of copy. We have 2 to go. There's another one that I'm very excited about reading. I'll save that for last because it's also the last thing that was submitted. All right. Hey, Sean, thank you for doing this. You are literally paying me to do this. I appreciate you saying that you appreciate this, but also, like, you're a Patreon supporter. If you're a Patreon supporter, I feel an obligation to help you. That's what this is. It is a covenant that can only be achieved through the transaction of money. I appreciate every Patreon who supports this business. Like, we would not be able to do this if we're not for you. My client really is called Effing Gear. Cool. Don't worry. They're just an apparel brand, Sweat Smile, mostly trucker hats. This copy is for physical thank you cards they send to customers with their ordered items. Love that. Love that. Love physical fulfillment and, like, including copy, where people would not expect. The good news is that the client loved it, but I know by now that clients too often call bad. I was just talking about this. Call bad copy good and vice versa. Plus, this was the first time I used humor in copy. Listen, you're writing for a company called Effing Gear. I think they're going to be okay with some humor. You know? I wish Rod were on stream for this, because this is more his wheelhouse. This basically what we're talking about here is brand copy. So, yeah. I'm being fake offended. It's okay. You don't need to get offended for me. I appreciate it sincerely. But it's okay. I know I look ugly and old and unshaven and sick. I'm quite aware of it. It's fine. Plus, this was the first time I used copy, which is hella tricky. It absolutely is. So I like your opinion on my work. All right. Yeah, again, I wish Rod were here for this. Just like I wish Alex was here for the video audits. Rod, I wish was here for this, because this is his wheelhouse. Okay, copy context. A wee bit long, but the copy itself is super short. Okay, so we're getting more context for this. Although client probably expected me to, I didn't want to write a formal, boring, soulless standard thank you note. They have this bird that's also a flipping hand. Yeah, okay. This is a company that's going to be okay with humor. Logo on all their products. Their customers love it. It's a conversation starter. It's edgy, etc. By the way, great branding, great design, great branding. Like, I don't talk about brand very much here. I'm very much one of those, again, I'm not an evangelist. I'm mainly a direct response copywriter, but I've had my fingers in brand. I've fingered brand copy a little bit. And so I definitely fuck with brand. I'm more cool with brand copy than most other direct response copywriters out there. And so when I look at this, I'm like, this is smart. A lot of people wouldn't really understand it, but this is smart. I get it. Their customers love it. It's a conversation starter. Buyers also love the company's name, the effing part, and it features in the reviews frequently. Effing great. Okay. My idea. Have the effing bird write the thank you card. So going with cute, quirky, humorous style. Goals. Give the audience a memorable experience and maximize the chances of their leaving a review. Okay. Good goals. Excellent. Love. Listen, if you're going to include a thank you note with a physical fulfillment item, you do want there to be some CTA. Every single touch point that you have with a customer, you want it to be an opportunity to get something that can benefit you. Having the goal of like getting a good review is a good goal. Read to the end. There is a review QR code at the bottom. Amazing. That just makes it easier for them to do that. That's the main action we're trying to drive. And there are 2 other QR codes, but less important. Listen, I can already tell that the person who wrote this copy, I haven't even seen the copy yet, but the level of thought that went into the messaging and driving action is already very, very good. And yes, a lot of coaches are allergic to CTAs and lead magnets. It's a total mistake. Wasted opportunity. Because of the QR codes, I was working with limited text space. Basically used the version he gave me with the codes already there and edited it in Canva. Great. Let me know what you think. Here's the front side of the thank you card. My only contribution to the side word equation equals the heart plus text at the bottom. Right. Love it. Thank you, effing gear. Great. Flip over, please. Perfect. This image is perfect. One thing that you can test, and this is a playful thing. It really depends on like do they, is it only this like middle finger like design that they got going on, or are they playing with like other subtle nods to body parts and images and stuff like that? If they are, then that's your opportunity to turn this heart into a butt. Just saying. And so that would be on brand. It would be humorous. It would be matching up with what you're trying to accomplish here. A clever designer would be able to figure that out. But yeah, right now, the way this is perfect. No notes, 10 out of 10. Psst, it's me, the effing bird. Just want, again, this you'll see this in brand copy more so than direct response, but actually like giving your brand avatar a voice, a name, a personality. Oh, it's so good. This is good. First sentence, I'm already loving this. Just wanted to talk to you one-on-one for a sec. You got some kerning problems here. Listen, I'm one of the few copywriters that actually like knows a few things about design. And what I'm telling you is that if this were kerned better, it would be more readable. So that's just something I wanted to put out there. Obviously, the client was going to give this to their real designers, and the real designers were going to gussy them up, et cetera, et cetera. And so not your job, but if it is your job, if this is something that you want to be like straddling both design and copywriting, you got to pay attention to kerning. And if you don't know what kerning is, the kerning means the space between words. Yeah, listen, I'm experienced enough in this to know good copy from the first sentence. I've only read the first sentence and it's good copy. You're an effing legend for grabbing this item, featuring yours truly, of course. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without folks like you, the crew won't be able to feed me anymore. What the F, right? Again, it's that reiteration of effing, effing, F. Here, we're using something similar to it's not antanaclassis, but it's strategic repetition of the brand, of the avatar, of the thing that you want to, worm into people's minds. Really good. Running out of space, so just want to say, if you're loving your brand new gear, please, love that, PLS, leave a quick review using the QR code below. I read each one personally. So good. Oh my God. Oh, and there's one for returns exchanges and another to follow us on socials as well. That's, for me, that's too many CTAs. That's too many CTAs. That's too many CTAs. I don't love that, but I also know that I can foresee a client being like, "Oh my God, that's so smart." No, the smart thing is to only allow people to leave a review. That again, like I feel like Dr. Mike criticizing somebody's form, where he's just like, everything you're doing is perfect, but also you might want to consider angling your feet 10 degrees in the next time you do this movement. That's the kind of critique that I just made right there. Too many CTAs. But does that mean it's not going to work? No, for this purpose, it works. Could it be optimized? Yes. But I'm not going to say it's terrible. Technologically and logistically, that's not really possible. Like, I also wouldn't gatekeep. Hey, if you want to return this item, you got to leave us a review. You do not want to do that. That's an invitation to terribleness. Yeah. No, it's Shaw. Like, you did really good here. This is the kind of brand copy that I like a lot. It's voice driven. It's clever, but not like, hey, look at me clever. It's like tastefully clever. Yeah, you did good. Again, the small quibble I have is too many CTAs. I love your reuse of the design and logo. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that one minor quibble, I got no notes, man. This is really good. Yeah, and Evan has another, like, you can keep the 3 QR codes and delete the last line. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, is it worth testing this? And the only way to test that is to have 2 separate pages where you collect reviews. And logistically and technologically, that's probably not possible. And so you don't want to do it. And so there's not really a point in testing it. So, yeah. Again, the kind of comment that I'm making is hey, next time you squat, angle your feet in a little bit. It's such a minor quibble, especially if it's what the client wants. If it's what the client wants for this kind of copy, fuck it, it's fine. But I think it would be stronger if it were just one. That's it. Yeah. W copies. This is good. Yeah, that gets into the weeds of design stuff, which is not really my thing. I think it works. I think that it's one of those things where it's like somebody might look at that and be like, what is this trying to say? Oh, I get it. So again, like Evan, same as me, so minor. It's such a small, it's not even worth testing. It's so small, but you knock this out of the park. So I thank you for sharing this. Like, your client's right. This is really good copy for the purpose that it's serving. So, oh yeah, Japan was great. I made a metric boatload, fuck ton of money, and I ate a ton of delicious Japanese food. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Maybe I could have asked not to get sick, but beyond that, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Awesome. Shaw, thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Now, here's a spec piece for chess.com. Sales page trying to get people to subscribe to their premium features. Oh my goodness. I am a chess player. I'm a low intermediate level chess player. And I have definitely paid for chess.com's premium subscription. I ended up getting rid of it because what was I doing? I was just analyzing games to realize, like, oh, I didn't need to analyze the game to realize how stupid that move was. So, yeah. Yep. So, before I dig into reading it, the immediate questions that I have are, this is a 7-page sales page for chess.com's premium subscription. And I can already tell that it's written more like a sales letter than a sales page. And the immediate response that I have is, would that work? Is that justified based on what people want? I know for a fact that chess players do want to get better. And so to that end, direct is probably better. Having a sales page versus a sales letter might be better. And the sales page, the only difference is it's going to be more headline and bullet focused, more feature and benefit driven, rather than hey, are you sick and tired of getting your ass handed to you by a 14-year-old in Turkmenistan? Well, have I got the solution for you? Chess.com's premium subscription. So those are my initial thoughts, looking just thinking about this as a format before I read the copy. No comments on your copy yet. I'm just thinking about how this would work. So, over 1 million of your opponents currently have the upper hand. Good implied social proof there, because they have access to the tools every frustrated chess player wished they'd known about sooner. That's not bad. How do you practice writing sales letters? You write them. Typically what I especially if I'm working with juniors I've trained in the past, what I'll do is I'll let them write the offer section first, because that's usually the most templated and, more feature benefit driven, the kind of copy that normie copywriters get paid for. And like, if you can't knock that out of the park, you're going to have no effing chance. Call back to the effing, writing like a good lead and good body copy. So I would study offer sections first and practice like writing a good offer section. And that's going to have, like, even if you never write a sales letter, that's going to have good transferable benefits to you. For like product pages and other direct forms of copy, things like that, invitation copy. And then at that point, you want to like really get good at, headline complexes would probably be the next step there. And then after that, it's a sort of like free for all. You can also, again, I'm not an evangelist when it comes to hand copying stuff. I have hand copied copy. Do I have? Yeah. God, this is like almost 10 years old. This is actual copy that I hand wrote. It was a sales letter that somebody else wrote, and I hand copied it word for word. It was very long, and my hand hurt a lot. But I learned stuff. And so some people it benefits them, other people not. But hand copying sales letters is one way, at the very least, to build up the endurance to write them. All right. This is good. I've been back of the mind thinking about this. This particular headline, so far it's good. I've been there. You're playing game after game, but your ELO just won't go up. You keep blundering, hanging your pieces. Oh, this is a problem solution lead. I can already tell. Hanging your pieces, walking into tactics, then kicking yourself for being stupid. Or you're failing without knowing why, winding up in losing positions, then scratching your head as to where it all went wrong. When I hit my first plateau, it seemed like it would stretch on forever. I'd claw a couple wins, then grit my teeth through just as many losses, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Chess fatigue was sinking in. It turned out that playing the occasional childhood game against my dad could only take me so far. If I was going to get better, or so I thought, I'd have to do some serious studying. As far as problem solution leads go, it's starting off pretty good. But I go back to what I was thinking about before I even started reading the copy. And that was very simply, is this product well suited for this style of copy? Now, a problem solution lead is really good for people who are aware of the problem that they have, but do not know that a solution exists for their problem. And so, it's that middle range between like aware and unaware. They just don't know that there are products to help them. Now, the question that I have for you is that if you are a chess player online and you're landing on this page, are you unaware of solutions for improving in chess? Are you unaware that countless YouTube videos exist, that books exist, that courses and algorithms and like computer chess exist? That there's a 95% possibility that the person reading this copy knows that there are other solutions to the problem of being bad at chess. And for that reason, a problem solution lead is just not going to be as effective because they're already solution aware. And so what you need to do in a lead for a product like this, a get better at chess kind of product, is one of two things. Immediately acknowledge and prove that your solution is better than other solutions. So that would be what is it, like product unaware? It's the one notch. It's yeah, basically you're writing to solution aware people. That's it. And in the case of chess.com, you also might be writing to product aware people too. There's going to be a ton of people who like have seen all the ads for chess.com premium who have voluntarily chosen not to buy. So they're aware that you're trying to sell them something. And so again, a more direct approach might be better suited if you were to try to send this to chess.com. And so again, with stuff that's going out to a solution aware audience, you want to be writing in a way where you like your stuff is either better, faster, cheaper, the results are more certain or guaranteed, people are more successful, so social proof goes a long way there. Yeah, demonstrations work really well for those types of audiences. I have not really seen problem solution leads work well for that type of people. Now, yeah, listen, a direct offer lead might work. A discount might work. A gimmick might work. Like, for example, your headline could be like, here's your dinner date with Mikhail Tal or something like that. And then the lead is all about like how people now have the chance to actually play the great grandmasters of the past. Why? Well, because we trained an AI on their games. This is the only chance you get to play with Botvinnik, to play with Kasparov. That would be like leading with a gimmick, but still being very direct. But it's not a direct offer lead, if that makes sense. So that would be one example of a thing that you can do. Another example of a thing that you could do that works really well for people that are this aware of either the solution or the product is just a simple invitation. We're inviting you to join a unique, special group of 1 million people who have dedicated their lives to getting better at chess, who've taken the step. Yeah, I missed it. I listed stuff that people have probably never, like, how many of you like were thinking, oh yeah, this needs a gimmick lead? Like, here I am being like, hey, here's something that's actually valuable and helpful. And I miss, of course, the one most basic fucking thing, a promise lead. You got to go with a promise lead. A promise lead works really well. Add 100 points to your ELO, guaranteed or your money back. Who wouldn't buy that? That's amazing. I would buy that today if you can back it up. So that's where I would go with that. So an invitation is you're invited to a special club. That's different from spend $20 and get this thing. Very, very different rhetorical angles there. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's one of the things that I want to point out. And like, I'm not trying to shit on you because notice what I'm talking about here. Everything I'm talking about is a value edit. I didn't give you a single line edit. We've looked at some other copy here that clearly, like, at a sentence level, I couldn't get through it. Your copy here is pretty good. If you were trying to throw this like as a sample piece into a portfolio to show off to potential clients, your clients are not going to be thinking about this kind of shit. The how to like properly choose the correct angle to go to the correct audience based upon the product and the community that's built around it. Most entrepreneurs and clients do not think that way. Why? Because most of them ain't marketers. That's your job. And so to that end, this could work as a sample piece. Absolutely, it could work as a sample piece. From what I've read so far, I'm trying to like build you up a little bit and make sure that I'm very clear that I'm not criticizing your copy here. So far, so good. What I'm criticizing is the idea stage, which is more important than the copy. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Does that make sense so far? I just want to make that clear, that distinction clear. Hello. Anyway, we'll read on a little bit more, but like, if any of you want to go back and watch our like how to edit your copy video that went live a few weeks ago, one of the things that I talk about in the value edits is like, if the idea is wrong, it doesn't matter if the copy is good. It's about like matching the correct appeals to the correct audience and where they are. And so that's where this is going wrong, not with the words themselves. So first, I had to spend hours researching whether, again, good narrative so far. This is clearly a problem solution lead. Small nitpick, angle of your feet kind of comment is, once you get into paragraphs that are this long, especially if it's copy designed for a web page, it might be a little bit too long. But again, it depends on kerning, it depends on the size of the formatting, et cetera, et cetera. My chest fatigue was worse than ever. Again, we're aggravating the problem. Standard problem solution lead. Never read a chess book until I was already a master. I don't know why you need a second period there. I question the placement of this image. Not sure about that. The secret to genuine sustainable progress is to make things easy for yourself. And that's exactly what, okay, so now we're pivoting to the solution. Premium features are all about. Within 2 weeks of trying them out, I climbed 200 ELO and, maybe more importantly, my chest fatigue advantaged. I don't know if chest fatigue is really a good selling point, or like a problem that people like naturally have. Like, again, if you've done extensive market research and you find that, yes, like normies on chess forums constantly talk about chest fatigue, then yeah, fine. Chest fatigue is fine. But like, I'm reading this and being like, is that relatable? Is that a real thing? That's the question that I have. So I'm not going to read the rest of this. The problem is with the idea. Maybe I'll read some of these bullets. Are you ready to finally escape stagnation? Again, like, there's ways to encourage people based on showing the negative and ways to encourage people based on showing the positive. I would say, are you ready to level up your game? Or are you ready to, like, God, forgive me for this, put your problems into checkmate? Don't put a negative affect where there doesn't need to be one. Yeah, you're talking about features. You're going to benefits, like having your own personal coach. Again, your basic writing is good. Some of the stuff is like, yeah, maybe you should rethink this. Maybe you should like approach this differently. But that's fine. You're learning. Platinum Diamond members get unlimited access to engine analysis and insights, along with all these cool features. I would bold that. And if you're still not convinced that one angle that you might have for stuff like this is, how many games does it have in the database? Find like, how many quintillion. It's like having 12 million chess games right in your pocket, ready to be analyzed. Stuff like that. The whole like have big thing in small container is a rhetorical trope that has historically worked very well. So, don't ignore it just because it's common. 7-day free trial. You don't have to spend a cent. Again, testimonials. I would include a button right here, but again, Nitpicks. The problem is the idea. The problem is not the copy. And I gotta say that a lot of people have been asking me recently, when do I know that I'm ready to reach out to clients? When do I know that I'm ready to start like doing outreach and like pitching people? I read this copy and I want to tell you one quick thing really quick. You're ready. If you're not doing outreach right now, you are ready. Because again, you're able to articulate benefits and features. At a sentence level, everything is clean. There were a few typos here and there, but who cares? Your actual presentation of provocative images, your exacerbation of problems, your ability to escalate things, the logic that you have of like making the magic show get better and more compelling, more interesting. It's all there. It's all still raw and fresh and new, but it's there. And so what you need to be doing right now is actually getting like practice in the real world of like putting copy out there and seeing what works and what doesn't, because that's going to teach you more than like me telling you this stuff. You know what I mean? And so again, I don't know you particularly well. Only interacted with you on the chat and in Discord. But if you are not reaching out to people right now, you're ready. And for those of you who are wondering, who are watching this right now, being like, hey, am I ready to do outreach? Everything that I just listed is a good indicator that you're fully ready to do outreach. I think that everybody should start before they feel ready. Nobody ever feels ready. So you always have to start before you feel ready. And what I'm trying to encourage you is that there are certain benchmarks where you can look at it and be like, all right, I'm doing this reasonably well. I'm sure if I did this for a client, it would produce relatively decent results for them. That's it. That's where you want to be. And when I look at this copy, that's what I say. Do you have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? We can move solidly into Q&A if you guys would like. Like I've lost most of you over the course of this stream. I intended to only go for 2 hours, but I went for 3. And I'm very tired, and I want to go take a nap. Oh, how would I sell a digital certification course about assisted living facilitators? The whole USP is you only need a high school degree. Okay, what you're asking is, how do I sell this as a business opportunity? How do I sell this as a make money opportunity? Like, and for that, you would want to, this is going to sound weird, but trust me on this. Go look up businesses, info products, things like that sell people on how to start their own carpet cleaning service. You can also do like Amazon FBA is a little saturated and it doesn't really hit the same notes, but like there was definitely a time where start your own carpet cleaning business was a total thing. It was a breakout winning business opportunity angle. And so go study that kind of copy and learn that. Now, digital certification course about assisted living facilitators, that's, again, it's difficult. I recently became a fractional CMO for a health certification company. So BLS, ACLS certification, stuff like that. And that business is really smart and useful because who needs these? Foster parents, nurses, surgeons, all of them need their BLS certifications. Nobody wants to do it. And hey, presto, they expire every 2 years. So we solve a problem. Fast, convenient, cheap, easy. You don't want to be wasting your PTO on like going to a class and getting a basic life support certification. So that's the angle that we're leaning into. Save time. Because we realize nobody wants to be doing this. Your angle needs to be different. And so for that, you would sell it as a business opportunity. And I would want to test 2 landing pages for that if possible. One is like how to launch your $80K, $80,000 assisted living facilitator career. And the people that click that are going to be the people that either know what that is or have that and want to know how they can make more money, etc. Alternatively, you would want to hide it as a business opportunity, either like through transubstantiation or something like that. Not really reveal what it is immediately, but like talk up the opportunity and like sell with an idea. Right now in one state of the United States, there's an opportunity for people with only a high school degree to immediately land an $80,000 per year job with only a 7-day training. And then like you build it up, and like you would like use a lot of case studies, but you'd still ultimately hide like what it truly is until a few pages in. It's at that point where you reveal like, you'd have a transition where it's something like, America's population is getting older, and where are they all going? Florida. And where are most of these people living? Assisted living facilities. And guess what those facilities need? People like you. And then that's where you pivot to like with a simple 7-day certification. Then that's where you would pivot to like being more direct. So that's how I would sell it. I would immediately create 2 landing pages to test against each other. So yeah. State certified to give out these courses. Yeah, I would test those 2 different angles. If you are working with somebody who's state certified to like teach these, he might prefer the more direct angle, but I would encourage you, use your copywriting and persuasion skills to say, hey, do you mind if we test this slightly more off the wall thing? That is the selling it as a business opportunity. So, I would do direct offer. I like lead gen. You got to nurture leads and stuff like that. And it's like, if this person was selling like certifications for many different types of training for many different types of businesses and opportunities, then yeah, I can see lead gen working for this. Here, I would just keep it super simple. Pay for ads, drive ads to sales page, count how many sales you make, and see if that number is greater than the amount that you spent on ads. That's it. That's how you do a marketing. There you go. And like once you keep it simple and like you change the messaging and change the way that you frame and where you place ads to the point where you are now making more money than you were spending on ads, that's all you need to do. That's it. That's your goal. And it's at that point then you can start playing around with and teasing out and doing other different things. That's cool. That's cool. Listen, here's what I would do in your shoes. You can do this on Facebook or you can do it on Google AdWords. Do you guys know that the Apple Notes app kind of looks like an old sketchbook or notepad? What I would do is I would write 10 different hooks for direct hooks, like biz op hooks, indirect hooks, things like that, quotes. Yeah, you name it. Like when I hit 50 years old, one of your hooks could be, quote, when I hit 50 years old, I never thought I'd be able to land an $80,000 a year job with only a high school diploma. But here I am sitting pretty, ... And what you're doing with those hooks, those designed hooks, is you want to see what rhetorical angles people click on. You can throw those into Google Ads, but preferably you want to do it in Facebook Meta because the targeting is so much better. And also because you can set an upper cap on each individual angle. So like once you have like this much spent on this angle, this much spent on this angle, etc., you can get a normalized score of like which angles attract the most attention given a certain amount of money. And you want when people click for people to ultimately land on some sort of landing pages that has some sort of like generic, direct, whatever, like sales message that leads to a sale for that particular course. Okay. Once you have those angles, that test set up, and you start to see good data, once you've spent your money, and again, spend very little money on this initially, $100 maybe, and maybe 200, and you have the data, and you have like the top 3 hooks that got the most clicks. You also might have sales at that point too. You can incorporate sales in this, and there's a way to create a normalized score. It's a complicated process. Maybe I'll save it for the UGMS. It's fine. But once you have that data, you can be like, okay, then you take those, you get rid of all the other ones. Maybe you can use them as subheads in your copy later, whatever. You take those hooks, and then what you do is for each of the top 3 hooks, you write 2 different iterations of them. That gives you 9 total ads based on like 3 different hooks. Then you do another test. Throw $100, $200. Make sure each one of those hooks has a cap. And what you're trying to do is not only then have you found the right hooks that hit people, but you also at that point, what you're doing is finding the right articulation of the hooks, of the ideas that you're talking about. And once you find the right articulation of the right hook, you have the headline that you should put at the top of your landing page. Do you understand what I'm doing? Like with that particular method, you are basically using Facebook ads to drive traffic to just a generic, plain old landing page. Maybe generating sales, maybe not. That's not the point of this particular exercise. What you're trying to do is you're trying to let the market tell you what they want to buy. And then you put that at the top of your sales page. And guess what? Now you start driving traffic to that sales page. More people are going to buy because that's the angle. That's a hook that they want to see. So yeah, no, this is how Tim Ferriss comes out with his book titles. Marketers do this kind of stuff all of the time. You can do it too. So it's one of those situations where it's like, if you don't have very much money to find it, like to test an offer, this is the safe way to vet it before you spend a lot of time and money on like writing a full sales letter or page or whatever. So hopefully that helps. I didn't see any other questions, so I'm going to log off. I'm going to drink some tea, maybe take a nap, maybe, go relax a little bit. So hopefully everybody learned something on this particular stream. Hopefully you all had a wonderful time. We had some laughs. We had some, groans because of bad puns. Hopefully all of you came away from this with something amazing, because you deserve it. All right. I will see you all later. Take care.